Yes, Ian, it is true. My old friend, your coach, is calling in today to spread some lore.
That's not what podcasts are.
Well, let's not judge already. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Dope.
Today's episode is sponsored by Mudwater and Stamps.com. Thank you. Tom is here. Tom Ward, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hey! Look at this. No, you.
Unchained, out of the paywall,
It's
free at last.
Exactly. I feel alive.
You're free and you're free.
Yes.
I am recovering sick guy, and I'm going to take a ibuprofen and Advil. Yeah.
This is to the dome?
You can do that.
Let me make sure. Are you sure, Dan?
I mean, the doctor told me to do it to my kids.
Oh, you know what?
There's nothing in these. These are just sugar pills.
No.
That's a good idea. That's smart.
It's real.
Should I take 2 of these red ones? The ibuprofen.
Yeah, go for it.
No, but usually you take 2.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
It's fine.
Well, you don't take 2 if you're going to take 2 different kinds. Then you take 1 of each. I'm
No.
thinking. Oh, okay.
You can take 2 full doses. The doctor literally told me to do that.
You're taking 4 full doses.
Why do you guys want me to die? I'm asking.
I watched the doc.
I don't know what's in this bottle. It's unmarked.
No, don't worry. This morning, because we had used it once for a sketch.
Wait, Tylenol.
And it's
Is that-
Tylenol. I took one of the pills out. I looked up the
Wait,
number
is that
that's on it.
that's the same thing as Advil?
It's the same thing as ibuprofen.
Advil and Tylenol.
But
I watched a
different.
documentary on Tylenol this weekend. I think you're okay. Yeah.
Wait, Tylenol is ibuprofen?
I might be wrong.
Because Advil is
Tylenol is not ibuprofen.
okay, but this is the
These
same
are
drug
the
then.
facts I know.
Because Advil is
Just take the pills, bro.
acetaminophen.
Take them, bro.
Well, ibuprofen is the one I actually need the most for the painkiller.
Take the Advil.
But Advil isn't ibuprofen, Dan.
I don't know what's in them.
Is ibuprofen acetaminophen?
No, it's called
'Cause that's-
ibuprofen.
No, that's Tylenol.
That's Tylenol.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
Advil is Tylenol?
No, they're different.
Then why? Oh, it has
Divorce.
both. This one has both. This one has Advil and Tylenol.
Sounds like it's okay to take both then.
But you but you gave me 2 bottles. What are you trying to get me to?
You
were
just
trying
said
to
you
get
had
me to
OD.
OD.
We never should have given him 2
I'm
bottles.
sorry.
You
I
should-
Well,
just wanted-
especially
can't
when one of
handle
them's
this
not even
level of
marked.
decision.
What do
That
you
looks
make of that,
sketchy.
Tom?
That looks sketchy as hell. I saw that, EB. There could be cyanide. It could be laced.
There's a
don't know.
there's a Netflix documentary about the cyanide murders.
Yes.
Right now, you saw those?
Yeah, I'm saying
really?
this could be happening right in front of our eyes.
You see those at AB and Lena?
No, I gotta watch it.
It's pretty interesting, actually.
Look it up.
How many am I supposed to take? Don't take.
Yeah, it's definitely in better hands.
What, the Advil? Today we are joined. I'll take 2 and call it. I'll just take 2.
Take 3 for good measure.
Stop,
Swallow
guys.
the
It's
whole
not
fucking
funny.
bottle, man. Just down it.
It's literally not funny
Stop
that you're
being
trying to
a
kill
pussy,
me.
dude.
Boring.
You know, if I die, you don't inherit the show. You know that,
Are
right?
you sure about that?
Yes.
Well,
Are
check
you
my
sure?
contract.
Have you
Is
looked?
it in your will?
Have you looked at your will recently?
I don't have. I don't even have a will.
Did you
Oh.
allocate the podcast to one of us and not
No,
tell us?
that's not how it works.
You have a favorite who's getting the podcast after
What?
you're gone.
Well, who? You don't even know who it is. So why are you trying to kill me?
I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm
Because
gonna
what
take
if
this.
it's me? Then you should
Not
be gone
you. It's a
It's a
tomorrow.
lot of
Not you.
responsibility.
Let's get on it.
Okay. So anyway, we have an amazing show here, guys. Michael, his. Did I thank our sponsors?
Yes.
Thank-
Yep.
Oh, brother.
Here we go. We're in for a ride
I've been
today,
sick.
people.
I've been sick.
Yeah.
I think you might be sick.
I am sick.
Right.
This is not what podcasts
I've been
are.
sick and continue to be.
Right.
Shut up, Ian. I'm fucking sick. I'm doing my best, bro. Literally, your podcast gets 3,000 views per episode. Tom couldn't even get your ass sponsors.
That's Tom Ward numbers right there.
That's yeah. Well,
Kind
I
of
think you would
embarrassing.
need to
more.
lose a
It
lot
seems
of
like
money.
more.
It's probably more
Does seem like a-
realistically.
just slightly more.
Thanks for
But
bringing
he
that
has a
down.
7 million subscriber channel, man. So this guy, let me pull up a photo. He's actually been on our show, Michael Briggs, who was such a great guy, such a nice guy. And
Big Mike.
And I'm shocked when I heard from them that he was reaching out. Also, Tom got the police footage from his stop, which is unbelievable. How did you get this footage?
It lived up to the
fast
hype.
too. He got it fast.
Yeah, well, so if you guys didn't tune in, like, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, I got a ticket on my way here for allegedly running a stop sign. I say allegedly because we have to watch the footage to see what happens. I don't know.
Dog, you ran that shit like I've never seen before.
Well, AB, why you
gotta spoil it, bro? It's called a teaser. You gotta keep them hooked. You gotta get them hooked.
You were playing coy. We needed to set
Anyway,
the record straight.
So you told me to go reach out and get the footage, Freedom of Information. They're supposed to give it to you in 10 days or whatever. I did, and they said, basically, F you, we need a subpoena.
Okay.
And then I was upset.
Yeah.
I want my footage. So, and it's good for the show, too. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
So I reached out on Instagram, and I got to give a shout out to the law firm. A fan who's an attorney in Arizona and California filed the subpoena for me, would not take money.
Wow.
I offered to pay him.
Let's go.
Yeah. So.
Well, hold on. It's at his thing, and I don't take this too personally, but his is dumbed down law.
He has a YouTube channel, but the dude
He's
has
making it for dummies, law for dummies, so the idiots can understand him.
Dude, there's a lot of idiots out there.
Dumb.
They need
That sounds
legal
good.
advice too.
A lot of idiots in this office.
Go.
Whoa,
bro.
You
I
switched
didn't say
yourself,
who.
AB?
I didn't say who.
Fair enough.
Tom, you recognize that song?
it's a remix of a Tom Ward banger. That's what that is.
No, this is the real
You,
one.
bro.
Oh, that's the real one. Okay.
Yeah, I opened the show today with the remix of the
remix
Tom
is
Ward
dope.
remix.
Yeah.
Tom sent us a new beat.
Bro, who brings more content than me? I got,
It's true.
beats
No,
to be
you are a
goofed on
content
for.
machine.
Wait till you see the footage. This is going to be some laughs.
Listen, I
I'm bringing it.
will never denigrate your efforts.
You should commit more crimes so we get more footage.
Please.
Whoa, alleged crimes. We don't know. If he committed
Alleged.
a
Who knows if it was a crime or
Well,
not?
anyway, here's the body cam footage. Let's just watch it. Harley's gonna call in as well. He was meant to call in on Monday. Harley actually is the one that put me in touch with these guys. So, and everybody loves Harley, so we're gonna have him call in too. You know. So, what am I looking at? This is the police
This is a
cruiser.
four-way stop sign.
Yeah.
So I'm in my
That's
wife's
you?
car. Yeah, that's me right there. Can you rewind a little bit so
And
we can
can
see?
you unmute?
Oh, yeah, there's
This
sound.
is I took a lot of pride in this edit.
AB's very.
You made the. Should I just let it play, AB?
Sure. Yeah. But unmute it. Oh, you got it.
Oh my god, bro.
Dude.
That's one of the worst.
I didn't even tap my brakes.
No.
Or
Not
even think
even
about
a
it.
little bit.
Maybe even accelerated.
Now, I
Yeah,
seem to
you're-
recall
you're
you
busted,
said
bro.
it was like a California roll
That's
when
what
you originally told this
Yes.
story.
You thought you California rolled through that?
I did. I don't know if my brain shut off or what.
There are things
Yeah.
called false memories that exist, and I
Bro,
would
that's-
understand.
that's
I am old,
manslaughter,
so
bro.
my memory could
Why are
be
you parking
going.
on the left? What do you do? What's happening now?
So the guy freaked out. So I was making a left at the light.
He
and
freaked out. You
He
mean
freaked out. He
said-
came like.
They hate when you do that.
Yeah, well, I guess he wasn't a fan of me, blowing through the stop sign. So
Oh, he's approaching. Let's see.
yeah.
And then you said he had his hand on his gun.
Oh, with the stop sign up there?
You blew right through it.
Alright.
You realize you did that?
I wasn't even paying attention.
Alright.
I'm trying to get errands done.
Why
You're
would you
honest.
say
Be
that?
honest.
No. Cops like when you're honest.
Honesty's the
I mean,
best
I guess
policy,
that's
don't they
true.
say
Don't
that?
bullshit
It's
them.
endearing.
That's what they hate the most.
You should lie. Don't tell the truth.
No. That always tell the truth.
No.
I've talked my way out of
Yes.
2 tickets for being honest.
And how many have you got?
No comment.
Well, that's just a numbers game. It sounds like that.
The odds are maybe in my favor.
Maybe.
Right.
But you won't give us the information to decide that. So Tom, that's pretty.
First of all joking aside, thank God no one was harmed.
Oh yes.
It was
yes.
let's say that, right?
Bro, you
There
were
are
I mean, it
people
could have
get
been
pulled over
way
for
fucked up.
horrible.
I mean, I could have hit somebody, God knows. I don't know why. I live in a little town and there's not even traffic lights. Everything's a 4-way stop. So like I've been through that intersection thousands of times.
Yeah.
That's why you're too comfortable, Tom.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if my brain just shut off or what.
That wasn't crazy, bro.
Yeah.
They do say that most accidents happen close to your house.
That's what they say, but is that just because you drive more near your house?
Probably. That would make sense.
Were you bumping music, Tom? Were you just
Of course,
running
of
out?
course.
Could Olive, could you mic
Always.
that for me? Real hot. Thank you.
So you said you were on your way here?
Yeah, because I remember that's what we talked about, or maybe it was the day
Because
before.
it's 2 o'clock. Why would you be on your way
Oh
here?
yeah, I think it was
Doesn't make sense,
maybe it was
Tom.
Wednesday, and I was.
Wait,
Are you lying,
Tom.
I'm trying to be honest.
Tom.
Well, I feel interrogated right now.
Yeah.
Should feel the light is on you.
The light. Oh, I'm cracking
You
under
getting
pressure.
PTSD.
Here,
What the
cut to
fuck?
Tom. Cut to Tom.
I'm
Goes
blinded.
in my face. Wait, hold on. That thing is insane. Can
What,
we
the
get a shot of
spotlight?
that?
Yeah, that is fucking
Dan, what we need
insane.
is we need B-roll of it.
Sure.
on.
Eventually, it's going to be hung tomorrow, but I figured since we're interrogating Tom, it'd be useful today.
Just put it on me. Is it all configured?
It's not configured
Dude,
for you.
I mean,
It's only configured for the two
flash
people who
your
are going to
eyes.
get interrogated today.
strong.
Dude, that's sick. That's so sick.
That is sick.
All right, you guys will see it tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday. So let's continue on with the Tom Ward adventure here. So does it say how fast you were going?
I would say 30
Looked like it
because
looked like
the speed limit's 25 there.
It looked to be a
So I'm
decent
exceeding it. I would say a little bit.
He didn't give you a speeding ticket.
No, because it wasn't that far over. They give you 5, right?
My mistake.
Do you have the registration?
Yeah, it's my wife's car. Should be there.
Do you have a weapon on you?
No registration.
It's so weird because the light before that, I made sure.
It's so weird.
That is so weird.
You're schmoozing, Tom.
That's so weird.
I mean, I usually
yeah.
stop at stop signs.
You know what's so weird? I stopped at the red light before this.
Yeah.
You're schmoozing.
You know?
That's so odd, man.
Officer, can I sell you an ad for your car?
LAPD looking to work with podcasts?
Yeah. The hot new thing.
Copy.
I haven't seen any
Is
of
this
this,
your
by the
current
way.
address?
Yes, Sierra Madre.
Sierra Madre? Okay.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay, the vehicle's coming back to Arcadia.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tom,
Wait, what?
that's really interesting, isn't it?
Is this a stolen car?
Are you lying?
It was a stolen
Tom.
vehicle, yes.
What did he say?
He said it.
Busted.
He said it was registered in a different town. It
Different
said,
town?
Yeah,
Where?
it said
It's
it was
LA.
registered in Arcadia, but I live in Sierra Madre.
That's not weird.
Why is that not weird? That is weird.
Arcadia?
Well, it's not the same town.
Thank you. It's in LA.
Yeah, I mean, it's the next town over.
That's who cares?
Apparently the cop did. I mean, he was being a hard
Crazy?
ass.
That doesn't matter at
No,
all.
you're right. That it's weird that he said that.
It's like a 5-mile difference.
Well, he asked, "Do you live around here?" And it was his wife's car, so presumably it
We
would be
live together.
registered at the where you live.
Correct.
Yeah, it's weird.
Thank you.
A little bit odd.
The cop's about to realize he fucked up anyway, so.
He's about to
all
open
kinda-
fire.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you'll see.
you never know.
I haven't seen this.
Yes, Sierra Madre.
Sierra Madre? Okay.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay, the vehicle's coming back to Arcadia. Yeah.
No, that's.
Maybe they got the
Steal
wrong
that
one. We'll
car?
see.
Oh, and you're like, no, dude.
No, that seems a bit sus.
Why are you talking back to the officer like that?
I could not be more pleasant in this interaction. Let's be real.
You
Well, you
I
could
don't
have
really
not
like the
run
way
the
that you
red
said
light.
no to that
I didn't
cop
either.
right
I
there.
didn't either.
I was shocked,
Were you
man.
accusing him of lying?
I didn't either.
I mean, the unpleasant part was you running the stoplight.
But then it got better from there.
Oh, yeah.
It was all uphill from there.
They got the wrong one. Let me see. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh,
He was wrong. Scumbag.
what a
Idiot.
douche.
Note that, please.
Get good
Never
at your
mind.
job.
Sorry.
Paid leave.
Get good at your job, sir.
He should
Paid
be
leave.
put on-
Are you suspending him?
Yeah,
Lost
He
suspending.
is suspended for sure.
Lost
Paid
it.
leave for a couple months.
I would say unpaid, but that's not how they do it.
Yeah, that's
Nah.
not,
You
that's
can,
not an
they
option.
kill people and then
Paid leave.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm looking for the current.
Welcome to America, love. You're learning.
Oh yeah. I've had a couple run-ins with the police already.
Whoa.
Really?
In America.
That's right. He's an outlaw.
I know you were in deep with them in Sweden.
Yeah. Well, I can get into the story another day.
We'll save that for Bacon Day.
Tom, can I ask why your old registration cards are in the glove box and why it's not organized?
That's a great question. Not my car, Zach. I'm a very organized individual. I have current. I throw the old ones away when I put the new one in. I got to blame my wife. Okay?
Okay.
I'm putting her on blast
Wow.
now. It's her car.
Tom,
it's her
you-
fault.
It goes right.
you blaming
in my
your
face.
wife?
I hate that thing. All right, I'm gonna keep going because we're on a tight schedule.
Yes.
You have the up-to-date one, or
That's
no?
what I'm looking for.
Okay.
If not the most forward.
The cop's nice. He's pretty chill.
He's okay.
Yeah.
It is. I can stick with that.
What's blurred out, AB? Do you know? Did you do that or the?
Yeah,
No,
I
sure.
was blurring
Yeah,
out
yeah,
your
I
ID
think it was
and
your ID.
registration.
Oh, thanks.
Why did you
Shout out,
add that
AB.
in?
I have the raw version. If
No,
you
no,
prefer to watch
we
it.
don't need
Yeah,
that.
tune into members tomorrow.
Yeah.
Address leaks.
License plate too.
That's also expired. We've been with them forever. The same-
You
You're
still have,
thinking through, like, 1,000
farmer's insurance?
papers
Yeah,
Okay.
same one. We have homework, everything.
All right. All right, just give me a second, okay?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Unfortunately, I'm running a citation, okay? So we're running the stop sign.
What's
By
so funny,
receiving this
Zach?
admission of guilt.
This is
Just saying
serious.
they're receiving the citation, and you promise to take care of it. I need you to sign the red box right here, and I'll get you your copy.
Yep. So it's just the ticket I just pay.
You can, or if you want to contest it, you can. There's a court date, time, and address.
There will be no contesting this.
You know, you might have a chance.
There you go.
This cop's like, you're gonna contest this shit.
Do you have any questions for me at all, sir?
No.
Okay.
Honestly,
Just make
pretty
some
chill
police
cop.
stops.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems at that intersection, so.
Oh, okay. No, I get it.
Wow, he's so
All
understanding.
right, sir.
All right,
Take care.
I must not have been the only one, Zach.
Well, yeah, it might be that they need to investigate what's going on at that end.
I think there could be a branch covering that stop sign. I need to do some
Yeah.
investigation.
No, I agree. If you know.
Oh,
Well done,
good to laugh. Doesn't it
officer.
feel good to laugh?
Well done. You're doing a good job out there, sir. I can't believe we
Hold
got
on.
that footage. That was amazing.
Let me give a shout out to
Shout out.
the attorney who made this all happen.
This speeding ticket has a sponsor on it.
Everything has a sponsor. Life has a sponsor.
It's in the
Zach.
doc.
I'm not kidding. Tom is the best.
We
in
have two
the
ads
game.
today. I mean, what do you want?
No, Tom is the best.
Let's just give a shout out.
Shout out Tom for real.
Shout out to Shannon DeMuy, and his California firm is the law offices of Sam Ekhani. And he also has a YouTube channel at Dumb Down Law. So thank you so much for giving me the subpoena.
That's so nice of you.
Hero.
Thank you for, and thank you
heroic
for
work.
contributing to the show. It's great content. Now, you guys want to know what's great content? Ian is panic texting his coach, and he sent me the text. That's how it is. I sent you the second one where it's just cropped more. He said we can show that one.
No.
Ian, I hope you're watching.
I have feelings.
Not him. Why Ian? Not that one. That's a good Ian. That's good Ian. Don't show. That's good Ian. We miss good Ian.
Dope.
All right, you guys ready for this shit? So we just put out the title like an hour ago, Dan, or like at like 11. So he sent this text. Hey, Michael, not sure if this is clickbait or not, but saw your face on the H Street Podcast thumbnail. Let me know if it's real and if you want to talk. I'm hoping it's just some clickbait because I'd be happy to talk to you if you had unresolved feelings about me and Anisa. A little too late for that, bud.
Let the conversation.
After you screwed everybody over, it's a little too fucking late when the Reapers is coming to collect.
But I truly am
Is that what they say?
genuinely the
I
happiest
guess.
I've ever been.
I don't believe you.
in my
I don't
life right
believe
now.
you.
I feel so freed.
Freed? Yeah, I mean,
I will not fucking shut up.
that is probably a bad idea.
I will tweet the stupidest shit.
That is probably a bad idea as well.
You can actually tell when I'm having a terrible day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely in better hands.
So she says you can tell when she's having a terrible day when she tweets a lot.
I will tweet the stupidest shit.
Okay, because that contradicts what she said about her being the happiest she's ever been.
I will not fucking shut up.
Okay, all right. Listen, it's my show. I'm gonna need you to be quiet, okay? Thank you. You can talk about whatever you want on your show. Mrs. I know what podcasting is.
Jewish.
So that's pretty embarrassing for Ian, wouldn't you guys say? Anyway, let me introduce you guys Actually, before we get into the Michael thing, this story came out recently that I thought was pretty interesting too. Now, this guy, Donut Operator, I actually know him. Well, know him. I think I played Dota with him once, like 10 years ago. But my buddy Sean was.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but he was like a small creator at the time. And my friend Sean, who everybody know, or a lot of people know, we all played Dota together, and then they stayed friends. And I used to always see Sean. Yeah. And then one day I was like, oh.
Totally new lore right now.
And then one day I saw he was like, his channel went really big. And I was like, oh my God, how about that? But I had seen that Ian had made shooting videos with him too. It's literally everybody has a story. I've had mutual friends. I'm not going to say who they are, but mutual friends reached out to me and told me that they had a falling out with them.
You don't say.
And now here's another one. It's like and then here's this one, and now Michael's coming, and then I had a falling out with Ian, right?
You did?
You did?
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, not my fault.
I heard about that.
But anyway, here's Operator Donuts, who used to be friends with
Operator Donuts.
Donut Operator, whatever. Operator Donuts. It's kind of this. Actually, I kind of like mine better.
It changes my idea of the name.
Operator Donuts.
Operator Donuts.
Operator Donuts coming in.
Operator, Donuts.
Teddy got walkie-talkies for his birthday, and I love doing this. I go, Teddy, this is Dad, over, and I make that sound. Thanks.
It's nice.
He went to a range day with me one time. Like we used to talk a lot about content creation and stuff. And COVID rolls around, I get bored at home, so I make an OnlyFans where I'm showing my meat.
Really?
And well, basically, I'm taking a steak and I'm rating a steak. And like,
see, that's the reaction that you're supposed to have. Genius.
I thought it was funny. So I'd be wearing like just an apron. Of course, I'm wearing like boxers underneath. And I'd reach down and be like, this is my OnlyFans. And this is an A5 Wagyu from down the street. And I would talk about it. And I sent it to
go ahead. Olivia's raised her hand. Oh. Okay. Why did you raise your hand like that, Olivia?
Because Dan's trying to get your attention.
Dan, what?
He wants you to look at chat, I think.
Oh, well, just say that. Just say chat. Just say chat.
Okay, I'll have to remember that next time. Chat. Whatever you want.
Yeah. I do remember that we had some spat about some police brutality thing 4 or 5 years ago. I don't care. I don't know. He seems like a nice guy, honestly, based on this video. I don't have any hard feelings at all. Yeah, whatever.
Ian, and he got mad and called me and like said I was making fun of Anisa, and like I wasn't. I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during COVID. And
you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
Yeah, it was.
He told him that. He said you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
Wait, that's not a direct quote?
No, it is. It is. His friend knows the story. Watch.
I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during
Let me go
COVID.
back a bit.
This is my OnlyFans. And this is an A5 Wagyu from down the street. And I would talk about it. And I sent it to Ian, and he got mad and called me and like said I was making fun of Anisa, and like I wasn't. I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during COVID. And
you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
Yeah, it was. He like said stuff like that, and yeah. Just like haven't talked to him since. That was like 5 years ago.
Over that?
Yeah, and I've like texted him and tried to reconnect with him. He just won't talk to me anymore.
Dude, that is sad. That is like insanely sad. And it sounds like the joke he did was pretty innocuous. Yeah. Like it didn't seem like he was trying to make fun of Anisa at all.
Did I miss something? Where does Anisa come into the pulling the meat out?
Well, Anisa has
an
OnlyFans
account.
And so he's like, you're making fun of my girlfriend.
Oh.
And he's like, no, I'm not.
That's a stretch.
And then he says, you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally. An ally of who?
Jewish.
The fucking devil? What team are you fighting for?
I was just gonna say I'm with Dan. I don't think that's a direct quote. I think he was saying stuff along those lines is what he was implying.
He said stuff along those lines. I was unsure based off of the interaction.
I think. Well, okay, whatever. Who cares?
It doesn't matter
because
the sentiment is the same.
So that was interesting, and then Ian fires back at Operator Donuts with just bizarre, and I don't know what to make of Ian. I genuinely don't know what to say or make about this. But Yeet, God bless him, and Yeet we trust. Donut operator reveals ridiculous reason why IDubbbz stopped being friends with him. Says they haven't spoken in 5 years. And then Ian responds, ooh, you conveniently leaving out that your girlfriend at the time was pursuing OnlyFans. But you were too pussy to deal with that criticism, so you made a parody account. No, I don't want to be friends with a coward. Bro, what? This is not a good response. And he had time to think about it. It doesn't even make sense.
That's not an ally.
If you don't sound like an ally to, you don't like sound like an ally to humanity, bro.
I don't know.
If anything, I feel like this would give Donut more empathy, because he's like, oh, your girlfriend was pursuing OnlyFans at the time, which to me is like, well, then he probably really wasn't trying to insult anyone.
Right.
He was just doing a joke. But he says, you're too pussy to deal with criticism. And by the way, using the word pussy as an insult, kind of misogynistic. Like a little bit. Like if you're going to be like, I'm Mrs. Female Studies, you know what I mean?
He's Miss.
Or, well, Mr. If I'm Miss, well, if I'm
Professor.
I don't know why I said that. It is. It sure is. But if you're going to be Mr. Women's Studies,
you're right. It's probably
then like you shouldn't be using pussy as an insult. And then while telling someone you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
And pussy too.
An ally of who? The Grinch? Right?
The Grinch?
Yeah.
That's who you came up with as a
I don't know. I'm
wicked
shooting
character.
from the hip. Where you guys at? Well, I'm floundering over here. You guys got nothing for me. What are you, an ally of? Gargamesh?
Well, the ally of a Grinch would be cool because I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. So people use
Gargamesh?
No, the Grinch. I'm pretty sure he's Jewish.
Well, I think
they're both.
You're saying gargle mesh, which I don't think is anything.
Gargle these nuts.
Yo!
Yeah. I was gonna say that. You just. I was waiting.
Wow!
That's revenge for last week.
That was well played. Well played. GG.
That's revenge, bro. Dan got me really good last week.
Bump.
Yep, I'm wearing my suit today. I think Ian started breaking out in a cold sweat when he saw the suit.
Dope.
I would.
Yeah. Very dapper, you're looking.
And I heard
You
that
think you made him scared with your suit?
You're doubting that?
I don't.
I heard that my watch looks really good.
You heard that?
Yeah, Zach told me that it looks really good under the cup.
I don't.
My buddy Zach, everybody. Zach, watch talk. So that's that. Okay, so that's all very interesting and bizarre as well. Anisa also weighs in and got community noted. Uh-oh. Anisa, he also told, okay, this is also such a weird comment. She says, the donut fella took us to a gun show where a child accidentally fired a gun that was loaded on a sales table into the crowd, and everybody nonchalantly said ND in unison, like it wasn't a big deal. What's ND? I don't know. No danger?
Negligent discharge, and I had to look that up.
It just means there's not a active shooter. It was an accident.
Okay. So, if they took them to a shooting range or gun show or something, and someone else somewhere unrelated to them had an accident,
how was he going to know that it was going to happen?
Why are you blaming him?
Because I will not shut up on Twitter.
You really got to not do that. You should shut up on Twitter.
I will not fucking shut up.
Why would you type this out and think that
stupidest shit?
It's not his fault. Did he give the child a gun?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I don't want to argue with you anymore. Oh, she further clarified, I guess, because she was getting bodied for being a dumb. I hate gunheads. Then don't go hang out with them. Don't go to a shooting range with a bunch of gun YouTubers. I hate gunheads. By the way, Ian's a gunhead. He's the one that took me shooting, and he had a bunch of guns and stuff when we did that shotgun video or the shooting video. He has a bunch of guns, and he was saying he goes shooting all the time, and he loves guns.
What?
Yeah. I hate gunheads. The king of actually. It was some gun event Donuts took us to at a range. People were selling guns. It was during lunch. when no one was firing, and a child went to the sales table, picked up a gun that wasn't supposed to be loaded, and fired it. So what? I mean, that's scary and horrible, but what does that have to do with fucking him?
I don't even remember.
So hold on. This one? She has another comment here. Oh, here. There's an additional comment. The vendor was booted. The guns on the table weren't supposed to be loaded. You mentioned that. It was very not normal. Certainly not. The event made me hate gun culture. I went in with an open mind as a Canadian. I don't care that you're Canadian.
Yeah, why does that matter?
But it was so poorly run, and the people sucked so hard, I became a certified hater after that. Okay.
I love the citing her Canadian identity for that too, because like, America has like the most guns per capita of any country, but Canada's like way up there too.
What do you think
people in Canada have guns?
What
It's
do they
not
hunt
like
and they
foreign.
just have 'em? Yeah.
What do you think they do with all the moose?
That's what I'm
Moose
saying.
everywhere. You got to be armed.
I think in Mudahar's video, he said Canada is like number 5.
There you go.
In the world.
As a Canadian. Also, you're in America. Act like it. Right? Number 7. I'm getting
Number 7 in the world,
which is pretty high.
That's high. There's a lot of countries.
America's probably has more guns than every other.
It's number 1 by like a lot.
What's 1, 2? Tell me the stats.
You have it pulled up there? What do you got?
Falkland Islands, number 2, Yemen.
Whoa, what's going on over there?
It's probably just because there's like 5 people living
Is
there.
it per capita or in total? What?
Firearms per 100.
So it's per capita.
So it's per capita.
That's a good way. So America is what?
Number 1, which is 120.
Well, what's the per capita?
120.
And number 2 is 60 something. We're like double the next highest country.
There's 120 guns per 100 people.
Yeah.
There's more guns than there are people.
That's correct.
Crazy.
And by the way, we have like 400 million people in America.
Yeah.
There's
The population's got to be closing in on that.
393 million
Is that what it is right now?
civilian firearms.
Good lord.
Population of USA is 340. Oh wow.
It's a lot of guns.
Huh?
So yeah.
When did that happen?
I don't know. I thought it would be higher. That's a lot of people. America's pretty big, guys.
Dan, should we add the AK-47 to the flag?
It's my favorite flag.
I know Sweden is one of the highest in Europe, which is surprising.
But
It's got an AK on it and a fucking hand holding it up.
calm down, bro. We'll get to you.
Look it up.
Brandon. So what is this one? Brandon Herrera. She's responding to this. Who cares? I don't know. But anyway, this is a very weird deflection of being like you're a dick and a bad friend, and you cut me out of your life for a stupid joke. Like that's so toxic. And they're like, really? Well, you took us to a gun show once where someone had an accident totally unrelated to you.
Good burn. Sick.
Here is right here. But did I look at this new clarification yet? Let me see. Yeah, I did. So here is Michael. He was on the show. Okay, he came on the show with Ian. This is the guy, our guest who's calling in, along with his wife, who did the videography for them as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. Michelle, I think her name is. Kate, I'm sorry, Kate and Michael. Yeah, Kate. Here is the clip of them coming on. And I remember he was such a nice guy. He was such a positive guy. He seemed so supportive and accommodating. He was traveling with them everywhere they went, just like super, super, super on their side, right? And it also means they had a front row seat to pretty much everything. I mean, they were there for everything. So this is 3 years ago. So this was, I guess, CC 1 or 2?
This was 1. He was in my corner for my first fight because my coach couldn't make it. Yeah.
Right.
And also, Kate gave me my spray tan for the first grader.
Right. Okay. So they're H3 adjacent. And he was gracious to stand in AB's corner and coach him. And that's so nice. So anyway, here's just a little bit, a reminder. What do you think about his coach? Is he the real deal?
I think his coach seems legit. I mean,
This is Ian's coach, by the way. We didn't introduce. What was your name?
Michael Briggs, Bonafide Boxing.
And what are your credentials, Michael?
I started boxing when I was 12 years old. I started with like freestyle wrestling, boxing when I was 12. I trained from like 12 to 15, then started again at 17, and then trained all the way through. And then I just left my old gym that I was at for over 17 years. And went on my own about a month before Ian got a hold of me.
Okay. So that's a part of the story is that they had just taken like a big risk to make their own gym. And then they were giving Ian and Anisa like a big discount because they thought it was for charity. And then they're like, wait, why did the creators get a fat fucking bonus? And like I, who actually needs the money to fund my new business, got stiffed.
No.
There's so much, guys. There's so much. Ian, do you think he's watching or do you think he closed it? You know, I wonder. Oh, Dan.
I was an amateur boxer, though.
Do you think you could take
kickboxer?
Do you think you could take Dr. Mike's coach?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
No doubt.
That dude looks
I think
legit.
I'll take probably any coach on the show for sure.
You think? Well, that
I
I've seen him box. He is a beast. Can we have the coaches fight out at the end?
He's
no
quick.
offense to him, but yeah, I just would take any of them for sure.
That's
Ian
good.
always
I like the
described him
confidence.
as a spider getting hit with raid when he starts going off.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wild.
unpredictable.
But then you die. That means like he just dies though afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually pretty much what happens.
and then
Sacrifice myself every time.
So that's Michael. He came on. He was traveling with Ian. I mean, he came to the podcast for pizza's sake. You know. Let's thank so we're gonna thank our sponsors, and we're gonna bring Harley, Michael, and Kate in, and we have a lot to discuss.
Nice.
A lot. So let me thank our wonderful sponsors, and then we'll get right into the fun, the action. Thank you. I want a big thank you to Mudwater. It's such a great product and a delicious drink. Ela freaking took it.
Where's the mud water?
She took it home.
It must be good.
Ela, where's the mud water?
It's really good.
I tried to make my own mud water. I ground up a bunch of like shiitake mushrooms and stuff, but it didn't work.
Then how do you add caffeine to that? You just
I don't know. It just was like a slushy of like chunky weird crap. It wouldn't work at all. But mud water is it's delicious. Last time we did a mud water spot, Ela was sitting where you are now.
Yep.
And she's like, this is amazing. I'm taking it at home. And she has been drinking it at home. What is mud water? It is a mushroom-based coffee drink. It doesn't actually have coffee beans in it, although it is caffeinated. It's a cozy mix of cocoa, chai, turmeric, and adaptogenic mushrooms to help you feel focused and balanced, not wired. It really tastes very herbaceous, like a holiday herbaceous.
okay.
You like that or no?
I don't know what that means.
Herbaceous, like herby.
Okay. Yeah, it does.
But
in a good way.
I mean, is chai an herb? Or is that more? Is like vanilla? What's vanilla?
I don't know. These are
Probably not an herb.
plant, maybe?
Yeah. So anyway, it tastes like Christmas. It's very delicious. Every single ingredient in mud water are 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. Shout out to my boys out there saying prayers. There's also zero sugar and no sweeteners added. To use mud water, you simply drop the powder in. It comes in like a jug. Scoop it out, put it into your water. You give it a mix.
It's really good.
It tastes great by itself, honestly. But if you want, of course, add some creamer, add some honey, add some CBD, and you be seeing a great day. UBC Inc.
Okay.
The best part about mud water is it provides sustainable energy without the spike and crash of traditional coffee. It's a caffeine-free. There's also caffeine-free blends available. If we go to their website here, mudwater.com/h3, let's take a look at their product. Actually, so here's what it looks like. That looks delicious.
Yeah, it does.
Damn, over that ice.
It smells so good too. I'm not a coffee drinker, but when you all brew this up, whew, smell real good.
That looks delicious. Yeah, it's really nice. You know, if you don't enjoy drinking coffee, you really should try this, because you might get that satisfaction that coffee drinkers get, but it just tastes so much better. And they have these cool offers, 43% off your order, guys, by going to mudwater.com/h3. They have starter kit. They have turmeric starter kit, original starter kit, matcha starter kit. Check it out. Yeah, they got all these options here for you. Mushrooms you can trust. I hate those mushrooms I can't trust.
There's some shady mushrooms out there.
I keep them out of my life. I learned long ago. Yeah. So, that's my boys over there at Mudwater. Ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to Mudwater, mudwtr.com, and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal. Up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use the code H3. That's right. I've used that frother. Is very good.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's a powerful frother. It's also a brother. You can put it in soup.
Oh.
That's right, guys. Use code H3. Get 43% off with code H3 at mudwtr.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you how you found them, and please let them know who sent you, us. And thanks for supporting our friends over at Mudwater. And I want to say thank you to Stamps.com. That's right, everybody. It's Stamps. If you have ever wanted to ship anything.
That's me.
Have you ever wanted to ship anything in your life?
I have.
Then listen up.
I'm listening.
It doesn't matter how small. It doesn't matter how big. It doesn't matter how much quantity. Stamps.com is going to revolutionize the way that you do mail. Let me tell you how. First and foremost, guys, if you're going to the post office, you're getting ripped off. And there's no reason for it. Listen to what they'll do. Up to 88% off USPS and UPS rates.
Whoa. Yeah. Surely you must have misspoken.
No, let me read it again. Up to 88% off USPS and UPS rates. And the reason they're able to get these incredible deals is because they work with over 1 million businesses, active businesses. They have a huge clientele because they're such a great, reliable company that's been around for a long, long time now. They're so fantastic. And here's how it works. They send you a free digital scale.
They just send it to you.
They're clairvoyant.
Wow.
They know you need it?
Just decide in your mind that you want it.
Oh my God.
They're
so good.
They're
so
not
good.
clairvoyant.
What they do.
But pretty much, they're pretty as close as you can be to clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Without being clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Here's how it works. They send you a free digital scale. You get it working with your computer. You weigh the package. Okay. It could be a box. It could be a little envelope. Right? It could be any dang thing.
What about a parcel?
Parcels, yeah. Parcels can be weighed. Yep.
Nice.
What about a human child?
I don't think you can ship that through USPS. That'd
Could be weighed, though.
That'd be illegal.
Dan, you're speaking out of turn. You don't know that I can't ship a human child.
You know what? You're right. I'll look up the policy.
Just fact.
Air holes and stuff?
I'm fact checking.
Yeah, air holes. Yeah, remember there was a trend on YouTube where they're like, I mailed myself to Madagascar or whatever dumb thing. Here's how it works, guys. Send you a digital scale. You weigh your package, envelope, letter. You take the exact weight, and on the computer, it tells you the exact postage you need so you don't overspend on stamps. And it gives you all the options you need. It shows you all the carriers. It shows you the amount of time, the insurance, so that you can pick the best deal for your needs. You print it out, you put it on the package, and then here is the second best part after the savings song.
It gets better?
It gets better. You leave it on your freaking porch, dude, and they'll come and do a pickup.
What?
They'll pick it up from your house, or you put it in your post box, your mailbox, a post drop box. You can drop it off at the post office. A million different ways to cut it. But I'll tell you what, nothing cut it quite like stamps.com/H3, guys. Sign up for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. There's no long-term commitments or contracts. You know? Did they say free postage? This is free money.
That is like free money.
Go to stamps.com/H3. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Thank you to stamps.com. Please consider supporting them. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so our guests are here.
Real quick, open the link that I just sent you in the Discord. Also, get rid of the ad, please, on the graphic on the screen. Thank you very much.
The Discord.
So what is this? Okay, this is facts.usps.com. Kids in the mail?
What? What the fuck?
Why is this
Do
page
not
exist?
try to ship
Wait,
your
why does this
kid.
page exist?
You're not the
Do
first
try
person
ship
to
your
ask this
kid.
question.
In the early days of parcel posts, a few parents managed to mail their children to relatives.
Oh,
What?
so there's a chance it would work. Is that what
So
they're
you're saying there's a chance?
Well, it's been over 100 years since somebody's successful.
In 1913, an 8-month-old baby in Hawaii was mailed by his parents to his grandmother, who lived a few miles away. So it wasn't
just a few miles away.
Walk?
It was basically a babysitter, express babysitter. Probably was on a pony at the Pony Express.
Is that the kid?
The baby was safely delivered. Regulations were quickly established to prevent any additional mailing of children through the U.S. mail. Is this? And then I'm assuming this child is related.
He's still in
he was
the,
mailed.
He's still in the sack that he came in.
Yeah.
That's
He
how
made
they
it,
delivered
man.
mail back then in sacks.
Anyway, stamps.com, guys. Code H3.
Shout out.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Is this a fun fact? I don't know if it's a fun fact.
I'd say so.
It's pretty fun.
It's a
We
little
laughed.
disturbing.
It was a little fun.
And it's a fact.
Why is the
Meets the
USPS
criteria.
trying to make like a fun interactive website? You do the mail, just send the mail.
Well, that wasn't very interactive.
Here's this: 447 million rubber bands. Boing. The Postal Service ordered more than 447 million rubber bands in 2023.
That is a fun fact. That's a lot of
Which
rubber
totals
bands.
24,000 miles, or one trip around the world. Boing. Shut up, USPS, and do your job.
Seems like a waste of rubber and
Stop
plastic.
counting rubber bands and do your job.
They're trying to reduce cost and waste.
If they want to reduce costs and waste, you could fire whoever's managing this website. Nobody's reading this crap.
Hire me.
We are.
You know, we just had this whole Doge thing, and this website's still up.
Yeah, I mean, it probably could have been cut if they were trying to save a
I'm
little
just
money.
saying, like, he's going to cut USA.
What do you think the budget? What do you think the budget of running this website is?
$70 million.
That's what I'm saying. Knowing, you know, how the budget goes, probably 70 milli.
Yes.
We should reach out, offer the service to them.
We'll take over.
50 mil?
Privatize it.
I'll do it for 20.
Privatize the Postal Service fund pack.
Seriously, let's do that. Contractor, baby.
All right, so let's bring in our guests. We've got
You okay?
me. Oh, I said let's bring in our
About
guests.
to keel over.
No, I'm not keeling over. I'm just catching my spot here. So Michael was on the show, and then Ian put out a new video yesterday about concern trolling, which is
Now, thankfully for me, I have the
crazy.
majority of this
We'll get
video
into this
already
later. 'cause
recorded.
It's
This is
not,
just a-
it's not super related to this call we're about to do, but this video is must be the most unself-aware person in the whole world. He made a video concern trolling me, and then he put out a video talking about how he hates concern trolling. It's
very good.
actually mind-blowing.
We like to troll.
And by the way, I'm not even trying to be catty about this. I knew that people weren't going to stick around for him, like, because I know the audience he's courting, which is like these snarkers, right? They'll come for the bullshit and the hate, but they don't even like you to begin with. They're not going to watch your dumb content, and frankly, it's dumb. Nobody's going to watch it. So this dude, Cameron F305, who made the Content Cop parody about Ian, well, he put out his Content Deputy in the same day, and he got more views than Ian's new video. And this dude he has 51,000 subs now, which is really cool, but he had like 3,000 or something when he started. This got more views than this.
Cameron is doing a fantastic job. I think he's
This-
a star.
This frankly shocked the hell out of me that it didn't get more views. I thought more people would show up for this, but you know. That's what it is. Pretty sad state of affairs. So let me introduce our two callers here. We have Michael, who was Ian's trainer, and we have Kate, his wife, who worked as a videographer. Can you? Oh, you guys, can you turn your camera?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
No
And
problem.
and then Harley. We're gonna bring in Harley too. Harley, you're here.
I think if they turn it back now, it might.
Oh,
go
maybe
into
try going
portrait.
try going horizontal again. Maybe it will fix.
Yeah.
If you go, or maybe it has rotate.
might-
Oh, there you go.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you. There it is.
Thank you.
Harley, you here? Can you hear me?
Harley, you're muted.
I was talking on a muted microphone. Can you hear me?
Harley, everybody.
Hey.
We sure can, buddy.
Hey. Yeah.
Now, Harley actually put me in touch with these guys. And so how did you guys connect? Kind of Michael, Kate, and Harley, you guys were in touch, right?
Well, I know them from Creator Clash, actually. That's how I met them. And I never saw the clip, Michael, of you saying that you could beat up all the coaches. I'm telling my coach, we'll see about that. I don't know. He's not going as hard as you do every day, but I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen Michael. He's a beast.
Yeah. I don't know where he gets all that energy. I'm not a morning person, so someone like Michael would piss me off. I feel like he's good to go first thing in the morning.
Is that right, Michael?
Not always, no. Sometimes I need a couple cups of coffee.
Oh my
Good,
God!
he's
I
human.
love your
He's
guys'
human.
dog. Harley,
Oh, thank you.
Harley, Harley, stand back. I love your doggy. What? A girl or boy?
Girl, 12 years old.
Yeah.
Aw, she looks so like a little puppy still.
Yeah, she's still
Yeah.
mad, yeah.
What's her
Yeah.
name?
Winnie, like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I love her. She's got a little bowl cut.
Yeah, well, her hair's too long right now. We had to shave her body because we were out.
Cute. I have two terriers. I've got a Yorkie and
We met one of them when we were there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
So, guys, first of all, thanks for calling. I really appreciate it. Oh, great. Hold on one sec. Sorry. I have to request access from myself to access my nubs.
You dork.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah,
Nice-
you guys know AB, right? I mean, AB was singing your praise, Michael. You were in his corner, right? Because his coach was unable to attend. That was so nice of you.
Yeah, I love AB. Yeah, I helped him train for a little while as well. I helped a lot of the fighters from Creator Clash 1 train. But yeah, I love AB. He's a great guy. Yeah, I'll be in his corner any day.
There it is. Oh,
Thanks, bud.
that's so nice.
Appreciate you. I actually, we were supposed to go out to eat, the three of us, recently, but my grandma got sick and I had to bail last minute. Yeah. But nice to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you.
Here.
Yeah.
And Kate, what did you do for Creator Clash?
I traveled with Ian and Anisa along with Michael, and I did all the recording for all the sparring sessions, all the meetups with all the YouTubers, even small interviews with like Eric, who also fought on CC1. So I have a ton of content, and Ian promised us that he was going to put out this documentary that was going to share the journey of how Michael took this video game nerd and turned him into a boxer. And so that's how they sold it to us when they first came to us. And so I was super psyched that this is going to be a way for me to help build my husband's brand and also put the work out there. But it never came through. And so when he most recently put that video out saying that he told a big lie and he was never going to put out a documentary, and all he has is a ton of 4K videos of him doing stupid shit or something like that, it was actually very hurtful to me.
That's your footage that he's
exactly,
talking about
yeah.
your footage.
Yeah, exactly.
3 years. Yeah, 3 years of filming.
Wow.
Yeah, well, yeah. Before the 61 was filmed the year
It was
before.
10 months, yeah.
And was he paying you at the time, or like what? How was he compensating you?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
So I do want to say that, like, for dynamic filming, I usually charge $150 an hour for dynamic filming. But because I was under the impression that this is going to charity, me and Michael, would always scale back on charging them. So, for example, instead of charging him $150 an hour, I would charge him $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I've heard that from other professionals now. I'm starting to hear people say that who, like one of the announcers put out a video recently. Maybe you guys saw it. He was like, Wade? Yeah. He was like, they offered me a salary or they offered me payment, but I declined it because I was like, it's for charity. I'm good. But then they took that money that he generously forfeit, a guy who's not rich, by the way, and gave it to all the fucking creators. It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we were also promised a bonus on CC1 and we never got it. But because Michael is so nice, he didn't want to like make Ian feel uncomfortable and ask Ian and Anisa about it. I was pretty upset by it, and I thought it wasn't fair because how is it that we put on this great event, we raised $1.3 million for charity, and he promised us a bonus, and then right after the event, he just kind of pretend like he's too busy to check in with us, you know? And then we...
Yeah, after the event, like once the event ended, I didn't see him again for about 5 months. So, because he was working with Dax on some show, and so he never trained. So the only 8 times that Ian ever actually trained was I trained him from July until May, and then I didn't see him again pretty much for several months. And then he started training again to fight Alex. Pretty much we started at like the end of December. And then that's when like they had to kind of get serious with the camp because they realized like Alex was training hard. So really I only had 10 months with him to begin with, and then about 4+ months with him for the second event. And then I've never seen him again since then.
Yeah, I was talking to AB. I think it was pretty normal that the boxers at least gave their coaches a tip, especially because you were there. You weren't just working for him. You were helping everybody out. It seems like you guys were both like super involved in this event.
Yeah, one of the reasons he was even able to kind of connect with Manny Pacquiao's people who hooked him up with Michael Leonardi was like one of our connections. Our friend Eric ran into a guy in a bar in Vegas, and that was the guy they were supposed to get a hold of, but he was not reaching back to him. So we were able to get them connected with the people that connected them with Michael Leonardi. So we were literally there from I was there from the beginning for everything.
So you guys had a really unique point of view where you had like a front row seat to everything. It seemed like you were with them intimately more than probably anyone else involved in this event. So there's all these interesting little details that you guys shared with me. For example, one being that I think it was you, Kate, that mentioned that he and Anisa did in fact pay for Hassan and all of his compadres to travel to and stay at Creator Clash 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were talking about that long before, about how they had to fly in all these people. First of all, they rented the hotel for over 300 creators and flew a lot of them in. When the first year it was much more scaled back. We just had a couple floors of like some place, like a nice suite place, but it wasn't extravagant at all. And then the second year they did that full hotel for 300 creators. They flew a lot of people in. One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic, and they flew him in from France.
That's insane.
And Froggy had told us that he was there to salvage the documentary.
Yeah.
And that was super offensive to us because we're like, what do you mean salvage the documentary? And he said his job was to go around and like film Anisa having interactions with everyone. So we didn't know if that meant they were going to make the second documentary about how, or the actual documentary about how like Anisa was responsible for the event, because she did put a lot of work in for the first event and she did put a lot of work in for the second, but at the same time, in the first event, she didn't get credit for it. So she felt like she deserved all the credit. So I think that's why they paid Froggy Tonic to come film her and follow her around for the second event. But yeah, they flew in a lot of people. They rented out the whole hotel for 300 creators. And when we asked them if Ian's dad was going to be there, because he was there for the first event, they said they couldn't afford to fly Ian's dad in. It was too expensive.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty sad. And Froggy Tonic told me directly, because I met him at the hotel, right, where we were all staying at in Tampa for CC2. And he was like, oh, you're the videographer that has all the content of Ian sparring. And I said, yes, I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this documentary, but it never came out. So I heard that you're taking it over now and you're going to help with the editing. And that's when Froggy Tonic told me that, yeah, Ian and Anisa brought out his whole crew from France.
His whole crew?
I think it was just him.
Well, he had a few people that were holding the cameras, his camera guys. Because the interesting thing was that usually when like someone is a videographer, they would be the one filming most of the time. But it was interesting to me that
He was just directing?
Yeah, he was more directing.
This fucking guy thinks he's Spielberg?
Scorsese.
What the hell's going on?
Camera people with him that were actually doing the work.
I don't remember that, but I do remember for a fact that he had told us that he was flown in to salvage the documentary. Anyway, so we were just offended by that because we were like, what do you mean salvage the documentary? And then him saying that he had no idea how to make the documentary for the first event. I had taken him from like 140 pounds as like never played a sport a day in his life. 10 months later, he ends up fighting Dr. Mike in front of over 10,000 people with 100,000 pay-per-view buys. And the fight itself was like a Rocky moment. And then he he literally took interviews with everyone before the fights, after the fights. He got all the coaches to interview. And then he said he had no way to make the documentary. So I was just like, how can you not make it?
Yeah.
AB made a documentary.
Everybody made a documentary.
AB, Harley, I was in their documentaries, but I wasn't in Ian's documentary.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's so sad to work on an event, like to work such a big event like
You
Creator
guys were
Clash.
so invested. Yeah.
We're so invested.
And
yeah.
it would always drive me crazy because I could tell Ian wasn't really proud of his work. So one of the big things is like it was very hard to get Ian to train because he doesn't like boxing. He doesn't like boxing.
Well, that seems to be somewhat of a
problem,
a sticking point.
Yeah. So I would try to make the session
Because he's boxing, just to be clear. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't.
But I think that's why it was as traumatic as it was for him as well. Because he was dealing with like a lot of trauma and a lot of issues when we were in our boxing sessions. And don't get me wrong, that happens with a lot of fighters in general. Because fighting's very hard. Whether you're fighting MMA, boxing, whatever, it's very hard because you're getting beat up constantly, and then you're supposed to show up to the gym the next day and the next day and the next day. AB can attest to it, right? So it's mentally very hard. So I did feel bad for him because I could tell his heart wasn't into it. So then to be into something like that your heart's not into, that's why I didn't see him once the first event ended. We didn't see him again for several months. And I told him, hey, come in once or twice a week, train for fun, make it fun for yourself. Because when you're in a fight camp, it's not really fun. You just have to keep training.
Right.
But then he never came back. And then so I was like, oh, wow, he really doesn't like boxing. And then he did an interview with Anthony, or the guy from Smosh, and he was talking about boxing, and I was just like, oh, he doesn't like boxing at all, and he's making it like public now the way he was talking about it. And then even in the video where he's trying to promote Creator Clash 3, he said, oh, all I have is 4K footage of me going, and it's like, that's called boxing training, Ian.
That's what boxing looks like.
Yeah, that's literally what you're doing. And then if you notice after he walked out of the third event and stepped away, he goes, I'm through with this boxing shit. I've been doing it for 4 years. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You trained for 10 months for the first fight. You took 6 months off. You trained 4 months for the second fight. And then you never came back to boxing again for over a year. So I'm like, how are you sick of boxing? Like, you obviously hate boxing. So, yeah, so it was hard for me as a coach to just get him to train. Also, like half of the sessions, we'd have to train Anisa. So every session, instead of being just training for Ian for a fight, I would have to take half of the session and train Anisa.
So whose idea was that?
Hers. Yeah. But the thing about it is Ian goes along with it, right? Because I feel like if Ian would have said, hey, no, I need the time to train, it might have been different. But he's just like, oh, no, she needs to train before I train.
But she didn't even fight. She wasn't even fighting.
No. And so literally in like the training footage, half of the sessions I had with him would be with her. And then she would come in with like all sorts of drama to the gym. One day she was super dramatic and I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And she related Will Smith slapping to Chris Rock to somehow Ian having to defend her online. So she was like super dramatic the whole day. And I'm like, I can't even train Ian today because she's so dramatic. So that was constantly
Give me a sec.
happening.
Give me a sec.
Keep fucking my mouth.
The slap, guys.
Yeah. Yes. She came in distraught, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
She's on Chris. She's on the slapper side, right? Like she was empathizing with Will.
You gotta do this. You gotta do this.
She felt like she felt like Will was Ian.
He had to slap.
Yep, Ian has to slap all the people that insult her, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so But anyway, so it
That's
was just
true.
crazy.
I'm not putting this word. This is my observation. Will Smith is one of the most famous cucks.
Yeah.
And again, that's my analysis, not your guys'. But it is an interesting analogy, right? For them to be idolized, because Jada famously had an affair with her son's friend. You know, so I wonder if that's how they relate more so than the slapping.
Keep fucking my wife's mouth.
You know. Yeah, it's just me. I'm doing a little psychology here. Psychology in Los Angeles.
I got a couple of questions actually, if you don't mind.
Harley, what's up, man?
Yeah,
please, by all means, yeah, chime in anytime.
Okay, yeah, I had a couple questions here. Let me get.
What's
let me
happening?
Set this up right here properly.
Oh!
Get this in order. Did you guys get any paperwork, by the way? Did you guys sign contracts? The fighters had contracts. I'm curious if the coaches had.
No, we never had a contract.
No.
Oh, interesting, because that would have been like something that would have detailed what's like what like, I mean, did they, I guess by word they told you it was charity and they didn't ever.
Right. Yeah. So, and I'm still hoping that the first event was all charity, other than Ian taking his fighter purse. But what was crazy about that is then you said you had a $27,000 bonus. And I was always under the assumption that there was no bonus, because even though he told me there was a bonus, he then disappeared for 6 months and I never saw him. So I was like, was there a bonus or was there not a bonus?
And you confronted about that? You asked them, or you didn't want to?
No, I just let it be.
Because I'm the same way, by the way. I never spoke about money with Creator Clash. I have a guy on my team that does that. I wanted to not talk about money, and plus it's awkward when it's a charity thing. You're like, I don't want to. Am I going to ask for money?
Yep. Right.
Yeah, and it's awkward when it's your fighter, and then you have to train him for a whole nother event. And I mean, truthfully, like a lot of times fighters will say they're going to pay a coach and then not pay a coach. So that happens sometimes. So truthfully, unfortunately, I'm used to that, right? Where they're like, oh, there's more money coming in. And then the more money coming in just goes to them. So you get used to that as a coach. But I am under the assumption that the first event did all go to charity. And then the second event was supposed to go to charity, but instead it went to the hotel, the pre-party and after party.
Was there a moment
about the after party? Because he said he was using the after party to help promote the event, but I have no idea how an event after the fight will generate money for the fight.
Well, so that's it. In his most recent video of concern trolling, in the beginning, he says he's explaining how they lost money in the second one, and he goes, the event before the boxing was to promote it. And that sounds reasonable and normal. But I don't think he even mentioned the fact that there was a massive gala after the fight where Anisa got to play as MC and give out awards and shit.
So we actually didn't even know about the gala until about probably maybe less than a week before the event, or a week before the event. The only reason I knew about the gala was because Ian had invited some of his training partners, and they were on the email list. And so they kept telling me there was going to be a gala. And I assumed they were talking about the pre-party, because the first year they did do the pre-party, but it was much smaller. It was on a way smaller scale than the second year. And then also, so we had no idea. So when everyone was asking me about a gala, they're like, what are you going to wear? I was like, I'm going to wear sweatpants. What are you talking about? And then they're like, what? You're going to wear sweatpants to a gala? You're crazy. And I was
the
like,
first year, it was like the first year was like a little party thing. It was like a Sweet 16 vibe,
which is all you need.
Like,
it's
game set up.
Yeah, we had Super Smash Brothers set up. It was in the hotel both years.
That sounds great.
It was much more casual, but if you dressed for that, like I was told specifically to dress nicely for the gala, that there would be pictures and such.
We found out it was a red carpet event that they flew Getty Images in for. So they straight up flew Getty Images to take pictures for the event. But
they're the only. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, when we asked them about it, and I said, "Hey, is there a gala?" And they said, "Oh, you guys, don't even worry about it. You don't have to go to that." And I said, what? This is what Anisa said. And I said, what? And I said, well, some of the sparring partners got invited. And she said, I don't know how they got on that list. They weren't supposed to be on the list. And in my mind, I'm like, Ian had invited them. He sent them the email personally.
What
right?
a disgusting
So I'm like,
human being she seems to be. I'm sorry.
Oh, she didn't want any of us there. She only wanted like creators there or people that would, I guess, make her feel like she could get more clout. So she told us we didn't have to come to the event. She doesn't know why we would want to be at the event. And I said, what's the event for? Yeah. And she said, and it's an award show. And I said, what are the awards for? And she said, they're awards for the boxing. And I said, why wouldn't his coach want to be there? Why wouldn't his team want to be there? I was like, that makes no sense. So everybody else, all the other coaches I talked to, I said, hey, did you guys know about the gala? They said, yeah. I said, did you bring a suit for it? And all of them had freaking like 3-piece suits with like kerchiefs and everything. I had sweatpants. I'm like, what?
Dude, that's so messed up. Why? It's like you're the guy connected with the event organizers and they're explicitly excluding you guys.
I know why. I honestly believe that the reason why Ian and Anisa excluded us and did not want us to know about the gala is because we're both very professional, we're both very direct and very transparent. If they told us that they were going to throw a huge gala after the fight and it was going to cost a ton of money, we would have asked them, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
because Anisa already told us, she shared with us prior to CC2, like a month before, that they were negative, was it 500K already?
Yeah, at the time.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, that's important.
Say that again.
They were negative 500K before the event.
Yes.
Before, so going up to the event with the ticket sales and the PPV sales, when the event started, they knew they were down $500,000.
Yes. Keep in mind that they moved to a bigger venue and they sold a lot of tickets. But before the event had started, they said we're fine. So the reason we found this out was because I wanted Ian to start doing 2 training sessions a day. And I said, Ian, you need to start doing 2-a-days. And he was like, why should I do 2-a-days? And I told him, I was like, Ian, you're not good at boxing, man. My brand is at stake. So you need to do 2-a-days. That's what pro boxers do. And so I told him.
Wait, did you actually say that to him?
Yeah, yes. And then I told him, I said, my brand is on the line. I said, you can go back to YouTube. My whole life is fighting and coaching fighters. And I'm like, so if you don't have a good performance, that's going to look bad on me. After the first event, for the first event, he didn't do any of his cardio. So that's why I ended up gassing out so bad. And I truthfully believe if he would have just done his freaking cardio, that he would have won that fight. But they couldn't do the cardio because 10 weeks before the first event, Anisa wanted them to buy a house. So instead of doing 2 training sessions a day at that point, they had to cut out training to go look to buy a house. And he moved into his new house the week before we left to Florida. So he literally wasn't training like he was supposed to for that whole first event because they wanted to go buy a house when they could have just rented a place for 6 months or a year. And then Ian could have focused on the fight, had the fight, and then found a new place. So I found that super offensive. I'm like, you're not doing anything I'm telling you. And they would lie to me and he would tell me he was doing his road work.
They would lie? Why would he lie? That's like lying to your doctor.
It made no sense because he acted like I told him to do things because I wanted him to do them. And I really wanted him to do things because that would help him win the fight.
Yeah.
So when I tell him, hey, you need to do this, he'd be like, and then not really do it. He didn't realize how important cardio was until the second fight.
What do you mean he didn't realize how important cardio is? That's like the entire thing. Yeah, that's everything. That's the whole thing.
It literally is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you hearing all this, strikes me as ironic because he was always, and Anisa, going on about how they hold boxing in such high esteem and they want everyone to train and this is life or death. This is serious. You get in the ring and people die in the ring. And and hearing him speak so loftily and respectfully about boxing, but then hearing he's like, oh yeah, no, I lied to my trainer about running. It's like, what?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that was them regurgitating what I would say. A lot of it, when I would tell them things about boxing, they would go repeat those things. I don't know how much of it was like them actually believing it. But so for that second event, so I tell him he needs to do 2-a-days. This is like 2 weeks before the fight. I'm like, we need to do your 2-a-days. And I said, my brand is at stake. Well, he went and told Anisa that I told him my brand was at stake. So the next day she comes into the gym super mad and she's like, our brand is at stake. We're $500,000 in the hole right now.
I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that at that time. I think a lot of the fighters would have liked to have known that. I don't think none of them needed to be in the dark about that,
Yes, completely. Well, and that's the thing. They said you guys didn't promote enough, but they weren't honest about the fact that they were spending the money from the ticket sales
Yeah.
on the hotel, on flying people in, on all these other things. So it was just like
So those decisions, the gala decisions, were made while in the red.
Yes.
That's very- I have a
No
question
shot.
about that.
So she was like, we're already down 500,000, and she still had time to cancel stuff when she said that. Like, how before the event was that?
Yeah. I mean, it was 2 weeks. It was
Yeah.
2 weeks
It was
before the
2
event.
weeks
I mean, they
So
knew
she
they
could
were
have made some
500K
last
in
minute
the hole.
moves. Yeah.
They knew they were 500K in the hole long before that, right? That's just when they yelled at us about it.
Yeah.
So they could have definitely made moves to reduce spending.
She wanted that award show so bad the next day. They really wanted to have that award show so she could give out awards. Once again, you had heard, like Ian said, he didn't want to have the fight just end and have everybody go home the next day.
He said, I'll quote him because it's very rich. He says that the first time afterwards, he woke up and everybody was gone. And he found it super depressing because he didn't get a chance to process his trauma, which seems a little bit hyperbolic, frankly, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's like a self-inflicted charity event. I wouldn't call that exactly I wouldn't put that up with like maybe like fighting in a war. I don't know. But but I guess we all define trauma differently. But so he goes, so in that case, I wanted to throw a party afterwards where we could all talk to each other and process our trauma. And then he says, we lost money, but I don't regret throwing the after party.
Yeah, he said
I think that was a lot of her words, because like he would say things that she would say. And so, for example, he said, well, we thought inviting Hassan and all those other people was going to translate to more buys, pay-per-view buys.
And they didn't even promote. They didn't even care.
No, it made no sense to me. I'm like, people don't watch fights because Denzel Washington's in the crowd. They're not
Right.
like, Denzel Washington's there, I need to watch the fight.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. And if they would have taught, so a lot of decisions before the first event, they like spoke with us about, because I know boxing. I've been around boxing my entire life. So I'm like, oh, I could help them with all these other things. And then for the second event, I felt like they wanted to make it much more like their own version of a TwitchCon, their own version of a VidCon.
That's what he said, yeah.
She said that she wanted to be like a VidCon. And we are new to the YouTube world. Like, we never been to a VidCon. And she's like, you guys haven't been before, but it's super cool where all these famous YouTubers come and everybody gets to vibe out. And so I was just like,
Vibe
is this
out.
like Comic-Con?
Yeah, he was really mad the first year that like, because she would always talk about a certain group of people. It was like somebody named Pokimane and all these other people. And she would always talk about how she wants like them to be there and she wants to be a part of their group. So a lot of it, and then so that's why like, and then the first year was like during that girl's birthday party. So
sorry. Knowing that detail, it breaks my heart that she had to settle for denims.
Yeah. I don't even know these people, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the only people I really know in the YouTube world is you guys, because you guys were so nice to us. Like, we got more clout from being on your show than we ever did from working with Ian, because he would never show any of the work we did. He would never. Yeah, and then everybody else, it drove me crazy. Like, AB would shout out his coach, Wale, Lucky Boy, and then
AB was AB was all about it, man. And you know, the coaches deserve a lot of credit for what you guys, especially you guys who were involved with the freaking event, the management of the whole event, you know.
Right. Yeah. Mike Leonardi even said after the second event ended, when it was just him and I talking, and Mike Leonardi was like, man, these events wouldn't even happen without you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because he knows about the drama that I have to deal with training Ian and how hard it was to get him to train.
Yeah.
And so, because I think he knew Mike knew that I think Ian didn't like boxing either.
Everybody
just by the
knew.
way, like he would interact with boxing.
So this guy, Mike, you mentioned him to me. I wasn't sure. He's the fight promoter.
So he was he was the manager that they got in touch with. So what happened the story of this event was amazing. Like, Ian had to reach out to all these people and they were weird. And then he reached out to Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao hooked him up with a guy. And then that guy ends up putting him on a phone call. And that's how they met Mike Leonardi. And so Mike was a manager in Vegas, and he knows promoters and he knows how to promote boxing events. And so the actual promoter was a guy named Ryan Rickey, who's like friends with Coach Thompson, Jesse Thompson, and this guy, Coach Rick.
That's Harley's coach.
Yeah, Jesse Thompson's Harley's coach. So anyways, he hooks us up with all these guys in Florida, and that's how we were able to throw the event. But it was like the craziest set of circumstances for us to end up where we ended up. So I wish Ian would have told the story. He should have been proud of the story.
Right.
I had a quick question. Sorry.
You want to go or should I go?
Oh, I was going to say.
Sorry, I'm being silly. Go ahead.
Roll it.
Oh, Hila had a funny comment. She said, Hila donated. I hate when she does that. Why is she giving money to Google? That's our money. Anyway, she said, too much dumping in here, you guys. Stop. This is not what podcasting is.
I know. I was afraid this was going to be an emotional dumping ground.
This
and
is
I
not
was
what
like, oh, I hope it
podcasts
doesn't sound like
Anyway, sorry, Harley, go ahead.
I was going to ask because just your opinion. Do you think that they were intentionally misleading with any of this, or just sloppy in their execution and communication?
Just sloppy. I think it was just sloppy. Like, that's the thing. Like, I still freaking, I always had the best. You want to be around people that want the best for you. And I always wanted the best for Ian. And so I always felt like, man, like, we're going to break through. We're going to have this moment where we break through and things are going to be good. But then they never were. So in my mind, I think they just got sloppy. I think they thought in the second event they were going to do millions of dollars in pay-per-view sales. And so I think that's why they went so far in the hole, because they just assumed they were going to get these huge pay-per-view sales.
Just to be clear, Hila's joking. I don't know if you guys know that. The dumping thing is a joke about something
Oh,
Ian
yeah.
said. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want you guys to think that I was... You
This is
guys
your
dump
emotional
away.
dumping ground.
Please. We're here to dump. Yeah. You mentioned something. So this guy, Michael, Mike. So he left Creator Clash and went and started working for Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And he scheduled the Jake Paul event for the same day.
Yes.
Ian's old guy. He did, and
I
he had
think
to do that on purpose, right?
I think he still owns Creator Clash. That guy. I think he's still part of it.
Well, I don't.
It's just when you have like a Jake Paul, you can like that's your thing. That's going to take priority over everything for sure. Like the event is 100 times bigger than Creator Clash at its best. But I think he's still involved with Creator Clash.
So, but then why would he do it on the same day if it wasn't meant as shade?
It's a great day.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy to me. When we saw that,
Yeah.
I was like, because we already knew it was the same night as it. So first of all, Ian never even reached out to me at all for Creator Clash 3. That's one of the big things I want from this is to like, because what happens when Ian messes with you or messes with these other people, a lot of it comes back onto me and either my YouTube channel or my Instagram, where people start putting a bunch of comments on my stuff. It's probably happening to Harley. It happens to everybody that's related to it, right?
Well, like what?
So,
what did they say?
They say fraud coach.
They're shit. What?
Yeah, talk about the sparring videos.
Oh.
So people want to see sparring videos, but Ian never put out any of my filming, so people think that Michael didn't
Yeah,
have
so
him spar correctly.
people in the comments, they'll say, oh my gosh, you never had him spar. That's why I lost the fight. Oh, you didn't have him do this. That's why I lost the fight. And I'm like, if he would have released the footage, they would say we did all of those things. But now I have to try to stick up for myself and have my YouTube be an emotional dumping ground in my comment section.
Yeah.
To try to protect myself. Or my brand. And so it was just crazy to me because
Horrible.
Sorry about that, guys. Ian, now is not your time. We'll have time for you. Sorry about that. He's intolerable. Hila is loving this, by the way. She just gifted 20 members. Loving this. Ian almost has this superpower. Maybe it's Anisa together, but they say great leaders inspire loyalty. It seems that everybody in his life, he's forced to be disloyal. He has like negative leadership. What do you call that? What is negative leadership?
Abuse.
Abuse?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yes.
So you think it's so I guess quantify that. Did you feel like abuse? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. The reason why I say it's abusive is because, like, for example, the bonus, right? They mentioned it to me, Michael, that they're going to give a bonus after CC1. And then after the event was so great, they just went rogue on us, It's interesting because we invite them to our house for Thanksgiving. We're so nice to them. We open up our lives to them. They've met my kids, like our kids, and everything. But then once the work is done and they don't need us, they kind of just put us at bay, and they make it uncomfortable for us to reach out to them. Or if we reach out to them, they don't respond. So treating us like we're not really in their inner circle, which makes no sense because we worked with them for CC1, CC2. Michael and I have traveled with them to LA, Vegas, Florida. Keep in mind that when we were in Florida with them, we were with them for 2 to 3 weeks at a period of time. That's a long time to be with someone. You learn so much about the person. And then you start to realize, wow, everything that, I mean, I don't want to say, you know, their enemy's name. What's his name? Sam. Like, I don't want to say he's right, but when we saw that video drop,
No,
I was
he's
like,
right.
oh my God.
You could say it.
I was like,
the
what
one
was
where
funny
he's
about
like,
that?
well, hold on. So there's a video of Sam Hyde, and he goes, "She's gonna ruin his life. Mark my words. I guarantee it." Is that the one you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yes, Anisa was the one that showed it to us because we didn't know nothing.
What was funny too is like,
I mean, I was just thinking about that on the way to work because I saw
Yeah.
that clip too, and I was like, "Damn!" Like Sam, fucking,
Yeah.
he was right.
Yeah.
Well, so what's crazy to me is like, so for example, when Ian did your show for Creator Clash 2, he would never say my name. He would always just go Ian's coach or my coach.
Huh.
And then AB was the one that actually had to say my name. AB was like, "Oh, you mean Michael?" And then I was like, "Thank
Wow.
you, AB. Appreciate
Thank
you."
you.
But so, and then same thing when he did the other podcast, he said, "Oh, my coach is he's really tough. He has toxic masculine qualities."
Wait,
So
when
I'm
did he
like,
say that?
He said that when he was talking to
When he did the podcast
with the Smosh guy.
Yeah.
So he did that, and he
You know
said,
what?
"Oh my."
He's lost his mind. I'm sorry, but if anybody deserves to have toxic masculine traits, it's your boxing coach, okay? Get in line, bitch. You know what I mean? Go fucking wake up and run. Like think about, you remember Mike Tyson's coach, this like grumpy, insane old man? Like,
Customato,
this is
shout
who you
out.
want to fucking coach you, dude. What are you talking
I
about?
didn't see the podcast you're talking about, but yeah, I know when I was training with Michael, I felt so loving compared to when I was fighting with Wally.
it sounds like
Wally used to
Wally.
tell me, "You could punch me in my sleep and I won't blink." Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I actually had to learn how to talk to Ian from training because during one of the sessions when he wasn't supposed to spar, but then he ended up going to spar Alex Stearns one day.
Oh, I want
And
to
Alex
ask you about that.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
epic.
It was funny to me because we weren't supposed to spar that day. Actually, it was the morning that he released the Sam Hyde documentary.
Yes.
So I had no idea he had so much going on because I didn't even know what the documentary was.
We didn't know who anybody was.
Anybody. I just want to control. I want to focus on the fight, right? So he releases the documentary, but we're in LA. We're visiting gyms,
For
and
your,
we're supposed to
for
watch.
your podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was for that. But we wanted to watch Alex Stearns train. So we go to Alex Stearns' gym, and the coach of the head guy of the gym, the owner, says that he doesn't believe women should fight. So Anisa gets really upset and
Who said
decides
that?
she wants to. The owner of the gym. The owner of the gym said that.
The owner
Okay,
of Alex
okay.
Alex Stearns.
So Anisa got so offended that she said, "Ian needs to spar now today," and we're like, "What?" And then so,
She
and
sent
I'm like,
her man to get slaughtered by Alex Ernst, who's like some kind of like boxing savant or something. He fucking annihilated him, dude.
Yeah.
so what happened was, it was funny because Alex has really thick glasses. So he took his glasses off and he can't see anything. So he just starts swinging haymakers.
Oh, he couldn't
But
even
then-
see.
Oh no, but Ian like froze.
Oh
And
wait,
so-
and also before the filming, so before they did the sparring, Anisa and Ian runs up to me and they're like, "Kate, make sure you film this because we want to put on our YouTube channel how
In the
does
documentary.
in the documentary how does 3 week of training look like and 3 months of training look like?" Because Ian at that time had been training for 3 months with us, and so I filmed
And
it.
Alex, 3 weeks. He had
But
just
after
started.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was, skill-wise, Ian was much better. Ian wasn't just used to somebody throwing haymakers. And so Alex comes out and just starts hitting him with haymakers. And the first 2 rounds, I was talking to him very softly. I was like, "Ian, are you okay? Can you throw punches? If you can't throw punches, I'm going to scrap this sparring because you're not throwing any punches." And then he's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." And then 2 rounds later, then I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you doing that?" And then he went on the Smosh show and he was like, "Yeah, it's bad enough when you get beat up and your coach is yelling at
Shut
you too."
up, dude.
I swear. Yeah.
Dude, listen
So-
to the audio of any corner. That's how the corner's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yes.
Throw a punch, man.
Yes.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
I have the reference here. Let's watch it.
Alex is a freak of nature, I gotta say.
the way.
I remember watching that, and everyone was like, "What was that?" Because he got it. It seemed everybody could tell he got pretty rattled by that fight.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You did you say? And I'm gonna. Did you say he cried?
We had to have a meeting.
So after that, so he was crying at the gym afterwards, and I said, and once again, I hate to hate on him for that because it's very emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
In some hard sparring, right?
Yeah.
So but then what happened afterwards was horrible because then we went back to the hotel and then they were eating at Denny's and they said, we need to have a meeting. So I have to go to Denny's. And they pretty much then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid. And so I had to relearn how to talk to him. And at the time, I didn't even mind because I'm like, as a coach, I need to learn how to talk to different fighters anyways. Like communication is the most important thing. One of the most important things as a coach. So I was trying to turn it into a positive, but it definitely was. But he almost got fired at Denny's.
Yeah, exactly. After that sparring session. But
I
not
almost
only
farted
that,
at Denny's.
Yeah, Michael and I rewatched the sparring, right, with him and Alex Ernst, and you could clearly hear that Anisa was screaming louder than Michael.
Yeah, so she was literally yelling at him worse than I was. But I was like, but apparently I was the one that I yelled at him and he froze.
It triggered him and he thought of his dad. That's what she said.
So we'd have to deal with things like that all the time where it was like, he wasn't even supposed to spar that day. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
He didn't have a mouthpiece.
He didn't
have a mouthpiece. So they had to buy a $20 mouthpiece from the gym and put it in the microwave. It didn't even fit. It was ridiculous.
When you plan to spar like that, you want to prep. You don't want to just go into it.
You want to be, like, ask AB, you want to be mentally prepared for a sparring day.
Okay, because it's yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my first sparring day, like it was so fucking bad. Like when I left and I came back, Wally started jumping all around the gym. He's like, I never thought I'd see you again. He goes, okay, the fact that you came back, he's like, now I'm in.
Holy shit.
But it was scary. I was supposed to spar Alex Ernst, actually, because me and Alex would talk all the time. And I heard about this encounter, and I told Alex after that, I'm like, fuck that. I'm good.
Alex had a really good coach. Alex actually found a coach that like coached world champion boxers. I have no idea how he found the guy. The guy showed up the day of the event, like a couple hours before the event, and then he left right after the event. So he didn't stay for anything, Alex's coach. But he was a really good coach.
So he wasn't prepared to spar, and then Anisa put him up to it because she heard the owner of the gym is
correctly.
The owner of the gym who's not related to the fight really. He wasn't there. He didn't care. It was just some comment. So she had to prove something to the owner to have him beat up Alex, who doesn't have anything to do with him. They have a weird thing. They do this where they go, oh, really? If you think I'm an asshole, then you should hear about this, what this kid did, totally unrelated to me at this shooting range. You should hear what the owner of this building said, it's like, what are you talking about? What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, it's like another rice gum situation where someone's beefing and Anissa's like, Ian, you better go throw a fight now and beat him up and be a boxer.
Yeah, that was actually how the whole situation started was because Rice Gum had texted Anisa and he said, tell your husband to fight me or tell your man to fight me or something like that. And that's how they ended up hiring me because I was supposed to train him to fight Rice Gum. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have two totally inexperienced people fight on some event. I had no idea what was going on.
Right. This is a lot.
It is a lot.
The sparring thing is next level because sparring at our level, people don't spar in their first year of boxing necessarily.
Right.
And it is really mentally and physically taxing. And if someone did boxing for 2 months and then sparred and then quit, I would understand that. And there's no way my coach would have ever, like, anyone could have been like, oh yeah, he's gonna go do this or that if I wasn't mentally prepared for it. So the pressure aspect is really interesting because I don't understand ultimately what was the point of that. It's just gonna set things back, you know.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I would always try to have Ian do very controlled sparring until like towards kind of more towards the last 8-10 weeks of camp. And then we would really pick it up. For the second fight, he sparred hard. He was literally stopping people in sparring.
Yeah.
Even for the first fight, he actually had stopped Nathan Barnett with a body shot. He stopped Alex Idubbbz with a body shot. So he was actually in sparring, like once he got a little bit better, he was doing pretty damn well. But I agree, like you shouldn't be putting people in early until they actually know not only how to throw punches and defend themselves, but also counter after somebody hits them. Because a lot of times they might know how to throw punches or even defend, but then they get hit and they freeze or they just don't know what to do.
Right. So you were trying to dissuade. Did you try to dissuade him? Like, dude, you're not ready. This is a
I was
bad
like,
idea.
we don't have a mouthpiece. We don't have headgear. We don't have the right gloves.
Yeah.
I was totally trying to dissuade. I was like, we're not ready for
You
this.
should listen to your coach, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's hard because like Ian, you could tell in his eyes he could not say no to Anisa.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do? He's gonna just suck it up, go get that $20 mouthpiece right there, put it in the microwave, and put it in his mouth. That's what he did.
Yeah. But and then that was
That
such
sounds a lot
strategy.
like the sexual stuff he enjoys. I made that. I don't know why. You know what? I apologize, guys. There was a moment about putting something in the mouth, and I thought, well, that's probably because of cuck thing. I just tried to, I apologize for that, everybody.
It was again like I mean I always want the best for Ian, so I was always just a lot of these things were just very disappointing, especially when he came out and said he was never going to release a documentary. I was just like, what are you talking about?
That was hurtful.
We have hours of footage, and I could see why they didn't want to make a documentary on the second one, because they didn't want to show how Anisa helped promote this whole event and it lost $250,000.
Yeah.
So that made sense.
No, I've heard Anisa talk a lot on the show and other places, and Ian was backing her up. She's like, she has amazing footwork. Like, she is like some natural gifted type of boxer. And I forget why they said she couldn't fight, but they're like, but unfortunately she can't fight. But if she could, she's like amazing. And so I was just kind of curious, because you were training her. Is she is she this natural gifted boxing savant?
So she did have some athleticism for a girl. But what would happen was when she would come forward really hard, when she would come forward really hard. Yeah, I hit the right. My bad. When she would come forward really hard.
Well, do you want to clarify that? You can.
Yeah. So like a lot of women are just less athletic when it comes to boxing.
It's about throwing punches. It's about, because men have more upper body strength, women have more lower body strength in general, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's plenty of women that that play basketball that will kill me in basketball, right? But fighting is a separate thing. Fighting is its own entity, and so I don't even almost consider fighting a sport, really, right? Compared to other things. And so when you have some athleticism for a girl, and like, because she had played sports, that's more what I meant. Was she had played sports as a girl, so she came in with some athleticism. Ian had never played a sport a day in his life. Ian had zero athleticism, right? So training her was easier than training Ian because she had more athleticism. But what happened on her first sparring session, I would always tell her, you can't just come forward. You can't just come forward. And so she had a sparring session and she was just trying to walk forward. And then a girl punched her. And then I was actually watching Ian, so I wasn't even watching. I just heard a big pop. And then I looked over and she was kind of frozen. And then she said she had a concussion. Then the next day she went and told the doctor that she had a headache and sensitivity to light and pretty much all the concussion
The whole
symptoms.
entire list, like,
And
it
then-
went on forever.
And then so we were like, oh no, she has a concussion. And then Ian's like, well, she's kind of a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
So we're like,
Ian actually reassured me because I was worried at that
She's
time.
not going to like hearing that.
Yeah, I try to check on her, and he reassured me. He was like, "Kate, don't worry about her. She's actually a hypochondria, and she does this often where she self-diagnoses herself and freaks out.
She's not going to
So
like that.
that's like, don't worry about it. She'll be fine." And I was like, okay, then why is she continuously talking about it on all her media outlets?
The thing that drove me crazy
Is that why
was
she said she couldn't box? Because she had a like? Do you remember what it was?
She was
was
an
that?
athlete in high school, and she had previous concussions, if I remember correctly, or
Okay.
something where the doctor told her it's too big of a risk.
Well, definitely don't box then.
Also, the doctor's going to tell you what you tell them. If I come in and I say I have sensitivity to light and have headaches, they're going to say you have a concussion, right? So, and then the part of the story that drove me crazy was how all of a sudden she went from saying she had this concussion to she's had all these concussions while she was training. And then by the time she was on like your guys' show and these other shows, she's like, I've had 11 minors and 2 majors. And I'm like, I've been around concussions my whole life. And nobody's like, that was a minor, that was a major, you know? And so I was like, well, if you had 2 majors, that would mean you were like completely unconscious. And she said she got them from like lacrosse and hockey. So I'm like, you're telling me that you got knocked out completely unconscious on the field, and then a few weeks later, they're like, put her back on the field. I'm like, that makes zero sense to me.
She's a liar. I mean, she does
100%.
lie. She lies about everything, it seems like.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't. And also, like, literally 2 majors. If she said she has 13, 11 minors and 2 majors, 2 majors would mean like you were completely unconscious. And that's
a lot of head
times-
trauma. You know what's ironic? Ian acts like that's what happened to him. You know,
Yeah.
but Anisa, she seems more in control than ever.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she's the master.
It's odd, and that's why like I felt so bad because you could see. So the two of the best weeks, or one of the best weeks we had in training, was when she had to go visit her family in Canada. And then that was when Ian invited his sparring partners to the gala. I wasn't a part of that, but he went out and did like
They took him out
one of our-
to hot and cold plunge.
yeah, one of the guys that runs the gym. So first of all, the gym that we're out of is this guy Luca Hosever's gym, and it's called Vigor Ground Athletics. And he was the one that did their programming in the beginning. And when they went on some show and they were like, Ian, how did you gain all this weight? She was like, oh, I studied kinesiology.
That's
and I'm like,
crazy.
wait. I'm like, how did you studying kinesiology dig him to gain weight? Like that makes no sense. Because in reality, it was Luca that was writing their programming for him, but they never wanted to give him a shout out. And that's when we realized they don't want to give anybody a shout out. Like they would never give me a shout out. They would never give Luca a shout out. Randomly enough, I guess occasionally they would give Mike Leonardi one.
Yes,
But
because
otherwise,
he's the manager and he had a bigger following. Unless you have a big following, she's not gonna give you a shout out. She'll just suck the blood out of you and go away.
Yeah.
So you think Anisa's the one calling the shots, though?
Oh, 100%.
I do, but it is also Ian that allows it to happen.
He enjoys it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
He feels sorry for
Enjoys
Ian.
it.
but-
What is
Yes.
happening with them?
Yes, he enjoys it. We used to feel sorry for him.
I did.
Yeah, we
All
both
the time.
did. We both did. Michael felt sorry for him up until CC2. After CC1, I cut that shit off because I was like, you know what? She's a fucking liar and he's a liar. And he enjoys all the punishment that she gives him.
Yeah.
So let it be.
She said that after she did that first interview. And I'm always like, I always want the best for my clients. So I'm like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Things are going to work out. They're going to give me a shout out. He's going to make this documentary, like all these. And she's like, they're never going to give you the credit, you know? And I was always
Yeah, that's
like,
what I
oh, well, and in my mind, I'm like, no, like I love Ian. I trust Ian. I feel like Ian's got like my best interest at heart too. But then he didn't. The time that I actually was finally fully fed up was when I had to ask them about the gala and we were already in Florida. And I'm like, this is the last straw. Like, you don't even, she's like, you guys don't have to be there. Like, she was practically telling us she didn't want us there.
Disrespectful.
Crazy.
Respectful.
For no reason.
And the reason why, I also want to say the reason why, like, Michael and I, we were waiting for them to tell us about the gala, but they never did. So they waited so long, we got to Florida. We're 2 weeks away from the event, and they still haven't said anything to us. And at this time, all of Ian's sparring partners, there was probably like 4 or 5 of them that flew out, or I think 6 of them total, flew out from Washington, paid for their own flights, their own hotel, and they're all coming there to support Ian. And they all have been helping Ian throughout his fight camp, right? And so they're asking us about the gala. We don't know about it. So we were afraid that if all his teammates showed up, they might not be able to get into the gala. How embarrassing would that be if his teammates are not able to get into the gala because she doesn't want them to be a part of it?
Also,
so that's why we asked her directly, and that's when she told us about the negative 500K. That's when she told us about why would we want to be there.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Also, all of his sparring partners paid for themselves to be there.
Correct.
Nobody, like, they would give him tickets to the event, but they didn't help anybody else get there. That was a part of his team other than Kate and I. So
yeah.
Otherwise, like, none of the, like, if you're throwing the event and you have all these sparring partners and training partners, I would think you would invite them before like 300 creators that don't mean anything to you.
100%. Yeah, you gotta think about the time that when they're sparring, you know, all the his teammates that volunteer their time, they're sparring for free. They're taking time from their work, their family to come and contribute. They don't do this because, oh, they're obsessed with Ian. They do this because they have loyalty to me and Michael and how we have helped them. And that's why they show up to spar with Ian. And all he does is look the other way when Anisa says and invite them. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's disgusting. I can't. All we have to show is our hard work. And there's no way that I'm going to let Ian and Anisa take that away from us.
That's crazy. What do you make of
the?
Oh, go ahead, Arlie.
Did you guys hear anything or know about how they chose the performers for the gala? The people that they put, there was a couple performers there that I was just curious if you guys had any insight on who they were or what the connection was.
Are you talking about like the comedians or who you
comedian and singer?
Right.
So there's this comedian that was allegedly paid $20,000 or something.
Yeah. So for the first event, we were a part of like a lot of those decisions. But for the second event, like I said, they kept us in the dark about the gala. Really, like, it was my main responsibility to help with Ian's training, but also make sure like everybody else had legit coaches and help, like, because for the first event, I helped train a lot of the people. I probably helped train like 90% of the people that fought
like
on the
Eric
first
came
event.
to Washington for 2 weeks to train with you. Remember?
That was another thing that actually upset me was like comment etiquette Eric. Like I love that guy, but he only was able to train for the last 17 days of the fight because he was originally supposed to fight Chad, I believe. But then when Chad backed out, they were like, "Oh, we need to find somebody," and so they found DJ Welch. And
that guy's a beast.
They told us he was out of shape and
that
had
guy's
no
a monster. By the way, super nice guy. That guy's great.
Huge
Both
arms.
of those guys are
Huge
amazing
pipes.
dudes. Yeah.
He was great. But
He's a
imagine
beast.
somebody telling you this guy has no experience. That's why Eric and him had headgear on. And that was another thing I got blamed for. They're like, look at how bad this coach is. Look at Eric. I'm like, dude,
That's
I had
so
17 days with Eric. Me and Eric just tried to make it fun because the whole time he was like, DJ's out of shape. DJ, we're just going to have fun.
And
man, DJ came out and whooped his ass. I was
Dude,
like,
he's
what the hell?
he's jacked. He's like actually
He's
jacked.
huge
I was
arms,
like,
bro.
this is not fair at all.
And DJ fought formerly. Oh, well, he's been training MMA for a very long time. Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
he's
like,
a
oh,
fighter
yeah.
too.
Yes.
Yes.
They go, he doesn't have
So what
boxing
that? What is
experience.
that? Are they lying to you guys on purpose?
I don't know.
So they were like, well, they didn't even tell us really any of that stuff because a lot of it they like tried to find on their own when it was last minute stuff. So for example, like when Matt fought Dad, like they almost canceled that like 20 times because Matt was never training for the event.
That's so interesting.
They kept almost, and they would be.
It's crazy. I would have never have known watching it.
Well, what happened too, I almost don't blame Matt, except like Ryan found a good coach or a coach, right? So I don't know why Matt couldn't have, but Matt's coach would tell him that they just want to do all this pad work, this like random pad work. And then they would say, but don't do any road work. Don't run at all. And then when they found out that it was a real event and there was going to be 10,000 people there, they fucking disappeared.
What did they? They disappeared?
Disappeared on him. Just straight disappeared on him. Like they were taking all of his money until they found out it was a real event. I think a lot of people were shocked that it was a real event because like we were going to these places like with no clue of what we were going to have happen. So we're like, hey, this is what's so crazy is like he could have told the story if he would have been proud of it. Like the story was amazing. We were going to these boxing gyms in LA and all over the place. And we're like, hey, we want to throw a YouTube boxing event. They're like, where? We're like, we don't know. They're like, when? When? We're like, we don't know, but we're going to do it. And they were like, get out of here. You know, it was like, it made no sense. And so I was almost like, hey guys, maybe we should let me talk to some of these people before. Cause like they would just have these awkward ass conversations in all these boxing gyms. And, so a lot of the people that ended up getting hired, like, I don't know if Lucky even thought it was a real event when he was training AB, or they didn't know how big it was going to be, you know?
Right. Well, AB knows. Oh, did you know?
Gym,
I don't know.
My gym, like they wild card, they don't fuck around. Like that. Supposedly, they even kicked Jake Paul out before. Like they're very serious about boxing. I don't think they care like how big the event was. Yeah, I think even Ian like added Wale on Instagram, and I don't think Wale followed him back. Like he's just, he's like, I don't know that motherfucker. So I mean, he likes
that guy
Ian,
is
but
something else.
yeah, he's not in it for any clout.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you something. It's alleged by Anisa herself that Ian has both bad breath and he shits in his pants frequently. Do you have any data on that? Having been in close proximity with him?
No.
Ian.
I don't want to just talk shit about him, but like there would be times, for example, before the first event where he was talking about getting tonsil stones. Yeah. And he was saying he was going to get strep throat because he had tonsil stones.
Ew.
And I said, Ian, tonsil stones don't cause strep throat. Tonsil stones are because you're not brushing your fucking teeth. And so he was like, oh, okay, hygiene. And I'm like, yeah, fool, like you need to brush your teeth and you like.
Wait, hold on. That shouldn't be something you need to hear from your boxing coach. Brush your teeth. That's something. That's it. Knowledge he should have come to you with.
Yeah. He was worried about getting sick. Like, so, yeah. So
Was it Creative Clash 1 or 2 where Anisa sent us, it was the day of training for one of the CC 1 or 2, I can't remember which one. And she sent us a video, a photo of his tongue. And
Oh
she said,
no!
"Oh, I think he might have like bad breath, and it's causing."
No, tonsil.
Wait,
She said
hold
yeah, tonsil stuff.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Go back. Why did she send you a picture of his tongue?
They thought it would show us that he was gonna get strep throat.
Yeah, so he couldn't.
And I'm
train.
like, because they were trying to say he's gonna get sick before the event. And it can happen if you train too hard before an event. You run your immune system down, so then you can get sick. But we weren't training too hard for him to get sick.
Yeah.
So for example, like they wanted him to gain weight, and I kept telling him, like, there's ways we can gain weight right before weigh-ins. So I want you at like a healthy weight, because they wanted him to be 188 for the Dr. Mike fight. So the Sunday before the fight, Anisa makes him eat all this shitty food. So the Monday before the fight, he couldn't even do 2 rounds of pads in the ring without almost throwing up. So I'm fucking pissed. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you doing this? I was like, I was telling you, if you're 188 or 180, but you drink like a couple Gatorades, a Gatorade is 32 ounces, which is 2 pounds. I'm like, just drink 2 or 3 Gatorades right before weigh-ins, and you'll gain like 4 or 5 pounds, and then you'll be 185. But instead, she was like, no, he needs to eat all this shitty food. So they were feeding him all bunch of shit food, right? And that's why when he weighed in with Dr. Mike, he was like grabbing his belly. And I'm like, bro, that's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, you're making us
I'm your
look
fucking
bad.
coach, and you're in there with a belly up there. Like, it's one thing to have gained the weight and be like, oh, I gained weight. But it's another thing to be like the day before the fight grabbing your belly. And it's because you fucking ate a bunch of bad food.
Yeah, they would
like,
be at Denny's all the time, and then he would
Denny's?
be like,
Yeah, this is important. I'm accused all the time of people say that they see me in Denny's farting. They say that about me, and I want them to. I never go to Denny's. I never go out to Denny's. But Ian's the one who's actually shitting his pants at Denny's.
Yes. The meeting that we had right after Alex Ernst's fight,
Yes.
sparring session was at Denny's.
Yeah.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
The meeting that we had to have with Ina and Nisa after the sparring session with Alex Stearns was at Denny's.
What did they eat at Denny's? What did they order?
Just like disgusting.
But she loved it because she used to work there back in the day. And I was in my mind, I'm like, Ian, you're a fucking millionaire. Why are you eating at Denny's all the time? Like, stop it. And then,
He's allegedly. I've heard Hila noticed this, and I guess Anisa also confirmed that he's very cheap. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't experience that. Like, he was always good to me, but at the same time, except for the fact he would never help promote me.
Well,
but in person, he was always good.
Well, I could say that I wonder if like this is a good example, but like for example, when Michael trains Ian, he charges $100 an hour, but Anisa would always want to be trained at the same time, so Michael is training both of them for the $100 an hour. And I would always tell Michael, like, you're training both of them. You should charge each one of them $100 an hour. Yep. And Michael would be like, oh, well, it's for a charity event, and I feel bad asking, so let's just do this for now, because we're going to get a bonus one day.
Yeah.
And in boxing, if you do bring 2 people within that one same hour, you do pay more.
Yeah.
That's not just boxing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's how it should always be. But for them, I was always like, whatever. Like, I would, once again, I always wanted the best for Ian. I always wanted the best. I was like, oh, this is why I like. He didn't want the best for himself, so it was really hard for me to want the best for him when he didn't want to train.
Now, do you have any commentary about his potential body odor?
I mean, I say it's true. I smell all the time. It's horrible. A good example is this, because Michael's so nice and he doesn't want to say it, but here's the thing. When we're in fight camp, he does 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening, okay?
For the first fight he did. For the first part of the first fight, not for the actual camp.
Correct.
During the camp was when he cut out his 2 days, and that was the most important time to be doing 2 days.
Yes, so he would smell so bad that when he comes back in the afternoon to train, he doesn't shower in between his sessions. And so like the coaches that are training other, members there would just like look at us with the weirdest face, like a stink face. And then Michael would try to take Ian to the corner where there's not a lot of members of the gym, so they don't have to smell it.
I try to take him to the open doorway.
Yeah, so that does happen. I'm not lying. It's true. He doesn't shower.
Yeah. I just didn't understand why she wouldn't tell him. I'm like, what is going on here?
She tells the audience. She humiliates him
in her Discord.
Yeah.
She's fine releasing everything, but she won't talk to him about it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and
like I didn't
feel
like
guys.
it was my
I gotta sit on that for a sec. He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just sit with that.
0.5 hotter, as if like he fucking his breath didn't stink all the time.
Yeah.
Another question. I heard that Anisa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
Yeah, she had said like I forget what she said like, but she had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason, but then like you had been doing better or something, so they were happy to go on your show. It was it was vague, but because she would talk, she would kind of talk poorly about a lot of different people, so it was easy to just lose track of it. But yeah, she definitely had mentioned like something about you and Hila, and like, or maybe it was just you, but somebody had done something that had offended her at one point. So she thought, so she felt like you guys weren't like good people or something. But then once you could do their show, but she loved AB and Lena. She always loved them. Yeah.
She would. So here's
There
the
you
thing.
go. Who doesn't love AB and Lena? To be
That's a
fair.
good question,
To be fair, right? Who doesn't love AB and Lena?
Yeah, she wanted to get her Lebanese credit, so that's why she like loves so much.
She's trying to get her Lebanese credit up.
Yeah. He would always, because she would be like, they're Muslim and I'm Muslim.
Yeah,
and I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is. I have Muslim fighters.
Yes.
They pray 5 times a day. They
don't touch women.
Like
besides your wife.
They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but they put their hand on. They're very respectful, right? But it's just a totally different mindset. So then when I hear, and I have other Muslim fighters that maybe don't pray 5 times a day, but they still like they'll try to eat halal when they can. They have like a lot more. They have a different moral compass. So for example, she would always talk about how America is this horrible place and Americans are like so bad, especially like white Christian male Americans.
Get out of here, dude.
And
Why? What is her problem?
And then, but somehow I'm like, have you ever been to a Muslim country, Anisa? Like, and then obviously she hasn't. So to me, it was just like, there was this big disconnect between reality. So example, before the first or second creator clash, she said, we have 300 creators in the event. And I said, oh, who are they? And she said, it's mostly communists and sex workers.
Yeah.
And so I was just super confused
She
by
said that?
Yes.
I've heard this said. Okay, so hold on. They've said before that it was Twitch streamer. Oh, this is so telling. Publicly, she said it's Twitch streamers and porn stars, right? Is that what she said, AB?
Boxing and sex work.
Boxing and sex work. But
that's what Ian said about
behind
the
the
vibe
scenes,
of Creator
they're
Clash.
saying communist and sex workers. Which,
That
by the
was
way,
huge.
I've been holding on to this image since you mentioned the Getty that they flew the Getty images in. The only one I've seen is this guy. This is Froggy Tonic.
Froggy!
And he showed up here.
Whoa,
I think
jump scare.
he
Whoa.
mistook the event for
Froggy never did anything wrong.
some kind of communist gathering. I mean,
Oh,
what a
wow.
fucking weirdo, dude. This is the guy that
Did you
can
guys
see
see
the
him
madness
there
in his
at the
face.
gala?
That guy is mad.
Did you guys see him there at the gala?
I didn't see him.
I saw him.
Isn't it so insane to wear that outfit and not be seen?
Yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Wow,
like
that is a good
you
point.
did all that, and no one. I too did not remember seeing that person. A friend of mine who was there in my corner did not remember seeing that person, and I know if someone wore that around me, I would remember them.
Yes.
So that's
I remember
crazy.
that.
You
My
remember
cousin
seeing
said,
him?
"Why does homeboy look like Fidel Castro?" It was,
Yes.
it was my cousin. He's a jackass. He doesn't even probably know who Castro is, but it did make me laugh.
What a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's a horrible person. That the Froggy Tonic thing is especially interesting to me because
low key,
he's a disgusting
sorry.
human being, like really
He
vile.
ruined Creator Clash. It was him. He ruined Creator Clash. Couldn't shut the fuck up. He couldn't just shut the fuck up. He had to go and be talking all this
Him and
nonsense for
Frogan.
no reason. Twitter, just nonsense Twitter. And look what happened.
You're
you fucked it
right.
up, bro.
You're right.
You fucked it up. Yep. Because
Yeah,
if you
you're
didn't
right.
say shit, then you wouldn't have the thing and the thing.
This guy was
whatever.
on. I don't know if you guys know the lore. He was on Twitter saying shit like about how I feed my kids dog shit, and then CPS came, and then he kept going on about how it was justified and all this stuff. And I don't know if you guys know the story, but I was like, dude, why are you friends with this guy? And then that's basically what started the whole thing.
Right. We saw that like all they had to do was help you guys with the CPS call, and they wouldn't, and then they turned completely negative on you and started attacking you
Then
guys.
they justified it.
Yeah. And so that was how that was part of why I wanted to do this, was because I was like, you guys actually supported us more than they ever supported us. So I was like, this makes no sense. It didn't make sense why he would attack the biggest. So I was a part of everything for the first event and a lot of stuff for the second event. And I can tell you, the most fans at those events was your fans.
Yes.
Was your people.
That's just good business, right? He's like, let's start a blood feud with the one person who's promoting this event. Like all the people there, more than anyone who's there, the announcers, the hosts, the fighters, I promoted that event more than anybody.
Yes,
I will say the way people treated me before and after my fight was crazy. Like the other coaches and stuff who didn't know who I was, once they heard the applause that I got because there were so many H3 fans in the audience, they were like all super nice. Not that they were mean before, but I don't think I'll ever feel that famous again in my life.
Yeah, we're a big deal. I don't know if you know this, but we're number 6 on YouTube. Or hopefully, I don't know if that's still true because I keep missing.
I got to be a part of AB's walkout for that first event. It was one of the most ruckus crowds I've ever heard. The craziest thing was like I was at the Seahawks stadium when they broke the record for the loudest stadium ever, and when AB got back up and dropped Hundar, that was the loudest I've ever heard a crowd in my entire life.
Nice.
It was the craziest thing I ever heard. And when he got dropped, I was like, oh no, like here it's gonna come, like Hundar might finish him. And then instead he dropped him back, and I was just like, this is the craziest event I've ever been a part of in my entire life. Like I was having the time of my life. I was like, this is insane, you know? But it was, a lot of it was because like AB fighting on that card and your crowd.
Yeah, but it's great. It's just kind of sobering to learn that she was, you know, talking shit before even that event, and then they come on and act like we have been friends. And it's funny because I did say a comment about how it's funny how they show up when they need something from me, which is for me to promote their fight. And he got all incredulous about that. He's like, oh, really? I don't need anything from you, Ethan. And I'm like, well, how's Creator Clash 3 going?
Right. Well, and that's what probably like, I don't like an ego thing, or it makes no sense to me because once again, I was a part of all that, and he would never put out training footage. He would barely ever promote it. And so you would actually be like, hey guys, Creator Clash 3, AB's on it. He's training. Lena's training for this.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
So you guys would talk about it way more than he would.
Also,
he would never put anything about it.
I want to say that like after Michael and I came to LA to go on your podcast, right, with Ian and Anisa, I clearly remember that when we came back from that event, I put up the reel of Matt and Ryan, right, working with Michael, and then Ian texted me right away, and he was like, "Hey Kate, just so you know, you shouldn't put out content without confirming with me first, because a lot of YouTubers are actually very sensitive to their image, like me, and so therefore, before you share anything, you need to let me and Anisa know." And I just thought, okay, so I'm just going to do a ton of work and not never share it. How's the thing?
I'm sure. By the way, I am sure that you said you were training. It was footage of you training with Dad.
No, it was Matt and
Super Mega.
Yeah, Super Mega.
I am sure that none of those people. He didn't mind doing that.
Oh no,
he didn't. He actually accepted the collaboration, and it had 200.
Oh, he accepted the collaboration.
Yes.
So it sounds like a win-win, wholesome post.
Yeah,
it should have been. But that was when I realized I was like, he doesn't want me to get any like clout from this event whatsoever, even though I'm the one putting in work with like a lot of.
But why is that? Why would he call you and seemingly be like, you shouldn't post, I don't want to see you posting stuff without my permission?
It's just
that had nothing to do with him, by the way.
Anisa would always say, because I would want to kind of post some stuff too, and Anisa would be like, yeah, Ian's really private. He doesn't want people to see this part of his life or this stuff. So we were like, so I just respected that. I was like, okay, he's a private guy, so he's not going to.
You know what's funny? He's going to become even more private based on the views on his last video. I'm saying he's gonna be living a real private life soon.
I got a question. Just following up. So Froggy Tonic was flown in.
This is so good.
To film Anisa and just give her the credit of putting on the event and all that. and they still did nothing with that footage or the footage you guys had as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I think, what's that?
No, go ahead. Go.
I think that because, like, I think for the first fight, it could have made a great documentary. But I think for the second one, they were scared to put out that Anisa did all this work because it failed so badly. She wasn't even a part of, when he did his charity, when he did his charity stream, or not, I won't even call it charity. When he did his fundraiser stream, because it wasn't charity, it was a fundraiser. So when he did his fundraiser stream, I don't even think she was really a part of it. And it was like, a lot of this thing failed because you were the person in charge, but now when Ian has to make up for it, she was nowhere to be found. And he was like doing embarrassing things. As a boxing coach, you don't want to see your client doing those things under those circumstances. You know, it'd be different.
Keep the pride up. Keep the self-respect up.
Literally, because that's on my, and once again, that's what I was telling him. I was like, a lot of what you do reflects my brand. So when he attacked you, all of a sudden, I start getting all these messages on all my stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I getting all this? Like, one, we were getting views again on some of the like old, because I haven't even put anything on YouTube for a long time, and all of a sudden I had a video of us at the AM of the Creator Clash, and all of a sudden there's just all these bad comments on it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I find out, and that's when we find out that he created the drama with you, and that's when we found out all these other things, and that's why we were like, I want to get my side of the story out there, because one, I'm not affiliated with him unless, like, except for training that 10 months the first time and the 4 or 5 months the second time. Otherwise, like, we have no affiliation.
Yeah.
We'd invite him to Thanksgiving dinner. He came once. Like when I went to
Anisa both.
When I went to
They came
LA,
to Thanksgiving dinner at your house?
I made a turkey for my first time, and it was a special Thanksgiving because it
You
was.
you had turkey for the first time?
Yeah, I
What have you been waiting for? Oh,
Yeah.
you made it. Oh, you made
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay.
made it. Yeah, so I made the turkey for the first
Okay.
time. It was a super special Thanksgiving because Michael and I had just moved in together.
Aw.
We decided that we were going to get married, and not only that, but Michael's dad passed, you know, and so that Thanksgiving was super special. I've never made a turkey my entire life. I put it together. I figured it out. We live in a small 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and I had to go buy extra tables and chairs so there'd be room for me, Michael, my 2 sons, and my friend, and Ian and Anisa to sit. And we went out of our way to do all this for them, and they just treat us like we're just, I don't know, gone with the wind.
Yeah. So, but what I was saying about that was like, I would invite them out to do stuff and almost never get a response. And then when I was in LA, like I hit up AB and he's like, yeah, let's go out to dinner.
No,
and I'm just
AB's
like,
such a good guy.
yeah. I'm like, so AB's willing to go out to
But
dinner.
baby
with
likes
us,
you. I think
but-
he wanted to spend time with you.
Yeah, but my own fighter didn't, and it broke my heart all the time because, like, so there's a coach named like Mike Quick Flores, and he's amazing, and his fighters loved him. They helped him start a damn YouTube channel. They bought him cameras. They helped him start a YouTube channel. They did all this stuff for him. And like one of his fighters was like James Odwin's out that got knocked out in like freaking 30 seconds, and he still loves training with the coach. So I'm like, how does somebody that get knocked out in 30 seconds have such a close relationship with his coach? And I like went to hell with Ian, and we have no relationship.
Yeah.
I got punched out of the ring. Out of the ring. That never happens. And I love my boxing coach.
Yeah.
That was
love-
pretty awesome, by the way, Harley. That was a great moment.
That was one of the best parts of it for me was one, meeting people like Harley, AB, but also like networking with those coaches, right? Like Harley's coach, Jesse Thompson, is amazing. Like he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing human. He's amazing father.
Yes.
All the coaches that we would work with there, Coach Rick at his gym in Florida, like we love them like they were our Florida family. But then Ian and Anisa would just kind of use them. They didn't even know whose promoter's license we used until like 2 weeks before the second event.
Yes.
So
I told her while the promoter was there, because that's actually his gym that we're training out of, right? He's a part owner. And so I told Anisa that that's actually Ryan Rickey. He's actually the fight promoter. We're using his license to throw the events in Florida, you know? And she was like, oh my gosh, really? How did I miss this the first time around? And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe because you don't care about anybody that doesn't have a huge following. And so right away she went and followed him, and then she started tagging him. It's just ridiculous. So
we were like, how did you?
Yeah.
They didn't want to take time to get to know the boxing community.
Yeah.
She acted like she was better than the boxing community.
Yes.
We were in a boxing gym called Top Rank one time, and there was a guy named Jay Prince who was like the manager for Floyd Mayweather, manager for Andre Ward, and all these very high-level boxers. So for me, that's a big deal. And the owner of the gym was kind enough to introduce us, and she was like, no, I don't want to meet him. Ian's tired. We don't want to meet him.
Wait, I don't want to meet him because of what?
Yeah.
Ian was tired.
Yes.
She would tell Ian when he was tired. One time we ended sparring, and afterwards everybody's hanging out, and she walks up to Ian and she goes, "You're hungry."
Yes.
And then so they had to leave because Ian was hungry. So she tells Ian when he was hungry. We're like, what the hell?
So,
so
is this what is
this?
It's nonsense.
Do you think that he walks around in a gimp suit at their home? No,
I hope
like
not.
I'm genuinely wondering. Do you know? Does
The ball in his
does he
mouth.
just sit there? Does he sit there and as a chair in a gimp leather suit, and she just sits on him? I mean, where does this go? By the way, there's this clip here I want to watch. I've been having it on standby. It's when you referenced the toxic masculinity comment aimed towards you. Let me
other
see.
than boxing. You don't have time or energy to do anything other than boxing. There's just like a lot of things that I've had to learn along the way. Like my coach is a tough ass guy. You know, he's got a little of the toxic male qualities, and it's made it hard sometimes because.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yep.
Like, dude, please. Like, I don't understand. You were literally made videos with Filthy Frank, okay? And now you're like, I can't. He was a little toxic, and it made it hard for me. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah,
and by
I'm
the
like-
way, compared to all the other coaches that I know, you came off seeming like super nice and like not
yeah.
Super
not
nice.
pushy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how to be soft with certain people, and then I'll be harder with other people. But if they can't, the sport's already so hard to begin with. This is one of the things I've been involved in fighting for over 25 years. So the sport is so hard to begin with that if you're getting more shit from your coach than you can handle, you're going to have a bad performance, right? So each person you have to treat so differently. So some of my fighters might need me to yell at them, slap them before the event, and really like get to a different kind of savagery. And then other people are very soft. And so you kind of, well, mostly Ian was the softest, but
Was he the
you don't
softest fighter
understand
you've
that
ever
it's
trained?
bad. What's that?
Is he the softest fighter you've ever worked with?
Well, he hated boxing.
Yeah, but not only that, every single time we had a session, it would have to follow up with a therapy session with him and Anisa. How frustrating is that? I was depressed after every single creator clash because of all the therapy we always had to imply. Otherwise, it was
But
going to be a shit show.
My other fighters fight, like, even if they have nerves or they're scared before a fight or something, they'll fight because they want to and they love it. Especially as an amateur, you're not getting paid, you're losing money. Even like low-level pros, you lose money working with low-level pros. You're traveling, you're doing all these things that the expenses aren't covered. So they have to love it. They have to fucking love the sport. And if you don't love it, it's very hard to do. Like, that's why I commend Harley and AB.
Yes.
Because, man, they were a part of freaking more than one event. And they have actual jobs. You know, it's like, what the hell? That's so to me, why wouldn't I show those guys all the love in the world? Because they're putting themselves out there when they don't have to. Also, there's a lot at risk when you go out to fight.
This is not what podcasts are.
Dude, please. That's only because they're talking
Horrible.
about you. It's so obvious. Sorry, guys. He keeps interrupting. Let me continue this clip. Meanest person to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't see it that way.
But also, like, in defense for her there, she did stick up for me in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
So there was times, but also, I didn't know if she was sticking up for me because they liked me as a coach or because she knew I was one of the only people that would take their shit.
Nobody else
It's
would
like,
train him. Nobody else
They
would.
couldn't have gone to, like, I can guarantee you, AB's coach would not have allowed Anisa to come into the gym with her attitude or want to change the music at the gym.
Oh,
And
tell
all
me
these other
that.
things.
One time she came and tried to put on her own music, right?
Yeah. And then we got into it because
They got into a tiff because she wanted to change the music. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what song was it?
Oh man, I would have to look it back up because I was actually in shock because some of the songs, even if you like that kind of music, because it was maybe some like indie punk rock
It was
music.
dark.
But what was just weird, and so not gym music at all. So I was just like, hey, I was trying to tell her that because one of the other coaches was like, hey, I'm gonna change it now because she was playing the music
After
at the
1
gym.
hour.
But
Yeah.
she shouldn't have even been on the aux in the first place. Like, you shouldn't be at somebody else's gym and then hop on their speaker. That's crazy to me. So she hopped on the speaker, and then one of the coaches was like, hey, I'm going to take you off now. And she was like, oh, like offended by it. And then I made the mistake of being like, well, that wasn't really gym music. And she was like, he doesn't play gym music. And then I said what was kind of emo. And then she
Hooba
said,
stank.
"What's that?"
Hooba stank.
Yeah. She said,
Was it Evanescence?
Yeah. She said the other guy plays emo music. And then after that, I said, well, it was kind of like 12-year-old girl emo music. And then that
red jumpsuit apparatus.
So I did I probably went too far.
That's not
but
mean.
at the
I
same
like
time-
12-year-old girl music sometimes.
I mean, in the right moment.
In the
not
right
at the
moment,
gym.
sure, yeah.
It's not fair to all the other gym members that they have to listen to her music. By the way, this is a very big gym. I think it's like how many square feet? 4,000?
4,000.
4,000 to 5,000 square feet, okay? And there's multiple facilities inside this gym. There's a Fit Bar Cafe. There's a physical therapist office inside that gym. The Seawolves also train out of that gym, okay? They used to, but so other people use this space, and she just wants to control the music. That's so unprofessional. It's not allowed, and it's not fair to the other members.
So she got
And we
mad
don't
at.
allow anybody else to do that.
Yeah, no, but I don't allow my other fighters to come in
Yeah,
and
no,
like.
that's insane. Who the fuck changes the music for the whole ass gym?
It was
She
crazy.
did, and then and then she threw a fit about it and cried about it, and we had to and I had to talk to her about it the next
So wait,
day.
what happened? Tell me what happened.
So she ended up leaving. We were supposed to actually do her pad session, but then she left.
She cried.
And she had to go out to her car. I mean, I don't want to talk about how her feelings were, but anyway, so she was super offended. So then the next day, what had happened was the next day they came in and they told my wife that they don't know how she could date me because I don't respect women. And so
Jesus.
that she doesn't know how.
How did she expect your wife, Kate, to react to that?
I have no idea.
What
It
an
was
insane
crazy.
thing. I'm pretty sure I would, if I had to ask you if you thought Michael respected women, you would probably say yes, considering you're married to him.
100%.
Yeah.
I love
Not
her.
in combat, though.
Yeah.
Not in combat. Of
Not in
course.
combat.
Right,
No.
right.
No
Yeah,
respect in
but-
combat. Do you? I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. Oh wait, hold on. I want to finish this clip. I want to see where he's going with this.
Sense they're almost preparing you for those feelings, right?
Exactly.
But they're going to come up, especially if you are losing in a fight.
I would just say that maybe it's given me more confidence just in life. That obviously comes from, being able to defend myself, and also just.
Okay, I've heard enough. Let me throw you a curveball here. Anisa, semicolon. Anti-Semitic?
Jewish.
I would say, probably in a way, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say.
It depends on it depends on who's talking, right? And
It's hard to say
audience,
no.
right?
It's hard to say no. It's hard to say no. We leave that door open.
Because I can't say, she never specifically said she was anti-Semitic, but just, I mean, the way
I
she
will
acts.
say that, like, I didn't know about all this stuff that she has against Jewish people, and then once I heard about it, I realized that after I shared with Anisa that Michael's mom is half Jewish and half Italian, like, I noticed that she started, like, keeping him more at bay and not being nice to him. So I think that might have been the start of it.
Did you know? Is that right? So when she learned that Michael had some Jewish ancestry, she distanced herself.
Jewish.
I don't know if it was exactly from that
how I
or just.
felt from
That's how you perceived it.
Yeah, there was plenty of times where like her and I would get into it, and so I just felt like it might have been from one of the scenarios where we got into it, because once again it was hard because I'm trying to focus on Ian fighting in front of 10,000 people, and I was having to deal with a lot of stuff with her too. So there would be a lot of times where like her and I would disagree on things, and then it would kind of cause issues at the gym, and then she would be like. Sometimes she would be all for it, and then other times she'd be like, you need to chill out, So I was like, all right, I can't push this.
It was just so hard because I've never worked with a fighter where we had to like therapy and deal with his wife 24/7. We can't get the work done that we need with a fighter, Ian, because we have to deal with his wife.
That sounds like an
she's
insane situation, yeah.
insane. It's hard.
A good example is before the first event. It's like 3 days. It was the Wednesday before he has his first fight. He's never fought a day in his life. He's about to fight in front of 10,000 people. We have weigh-ins on Friday in the press conference, and then we have the fight on Saturday. On Wednesday, she had such bad anorexia that she was going to die. So she tells Ian,
Jesus.
I'm gonna die, but if I go to the hospital, they're going to hold me and I'm going to miss the event.
Wait.
So Ian
She
stops
says
in-
she's like my anorexia is acting up and I'm gonna die.
Yes, the Wednesday before the fight.
So that's
literally, he's
because
supposed
she's
to fight-
obviously. I mean, she doesn't appear to be not. She appears to be of healthy weight. I don't know.
She looked. I would have never guessed. I would have. I wouldn't have thought she was going to die.
Anyone can have anorexia. Olivia said.
Right. Yeah. But I wouldn't have thought she was going to die on Wednesday. You know, I saw her. I didn't think she's going to die, but she's telling Ian. And so I'm like, if I was going to fight, and my wife 3 days before my fight is like, "Hey, I'm going to die, but I can't go to the hospital because then I'm going to miss your fight." I would be so stressed out from that. And so it was just like, how are you stressing Ian out about this freaking?
It's all about her.
Yes.
And what I've noticed too is that like knowing them for so many years and traveling with them and being with them all the time, I realized that it's something that she does. She has this way of always sabotaging every single moment before who's about to have a big moment. You know what I mean?
Makes it about her.
Correct. Like, for example, for CC1, she decided, she came to the gym and she was like, oh, our lease is ending and we need to buy a new house right now. Otherwise, I'm going to be homeless. The world's ending. So then Ian had to go and try to buy a new house for her, but then he couldn't because he had to sell his house in San Diego first. Otherwise, he wasn't going to be able to do that. So then they had to sell the house in San Diego, then buy like their over $1 million house in Seattle the week or two before CC1. Okay, and then for CC2, like before he was supposed to start training for his fight camp, right? But then they didn't come and train, and then she decided that she was gonna have her tits removed, like during his fight camp.
Oh, that was the second one. That was
I said CC2.
Oh yeah.
So hold on. Yeah, I remember. By the way, a long time ago, they came out to hang out with me and Hila. And you know, I find it interesting that she seemed to have always hated me, despite pretending to be my friend for a long time. But she came over and we were hanging out and she just was like, so I'm getting fake boobs. And I was like, okay, great. Good for you. And then next thing I know, she had him removed like less than a year later. I was like, okay, I guess, why? I guess, what was she saying, that it was uncomfortable or something?
I mean, it probably hurt her back.
I mean,
God's sake, what are you doing?
She told me that.
I do that in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, she always blames it on everybody. She blames it on her doctor. She told me personally that she wasn't too sure about it, and then her doctor told her to go too big, and now she's not happy, and she's got to get it taken out. But it's like, out of all the times that you could have done it after CC1,
so you're saying she did it during training camp?
Yes.
Yes. Before the second fight, also I told him, don't fight Alex Wasabi. Alex Wasabi loves boxing. He put a boxing ring in his backyard.
Yeah.
He moved a pro boxer that was like a really good pro boxer into his house. Yeah. And I'd worked with him before the first event.
Yeah.
I'd work with him before he fought Deji. And I was like, oh, Alex really likes boxing. So don't fight Alex because he loves boxing and you don't like boxing. And so
he's going to be better. He's going to be a lot better.
Well, so, and then exactly, literally.
Yeah.
And then and he trains with the good gym. He trained with this guy, Brian Valoria, Julian Chua. So he trained with all these high level guys. And I'm like, now my brand's at stake because I'm going to be competing with that type of level of guy. I need to have you show out. And he had missed literally between May to November was when she got that done. And so he was supposed to train during November, but he took all of November off because she couldn't come to the gym. But originally
he took the whole month off because of the procedure to
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is how you know he doesn't like boxing, because they said he was going to come into the gym when she couldn't be there. But then when she couldn't come in, he never came in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was his thing where he
made a comment recently where he's like, when Anisa's not with me, I don't know what to say. And I'm
Which
like,
is
dude,
crazy.
what happened to you? Who are
What's
you?
She tells him when he's hungry, when he's tired. How's he gonna know?
That's
those
why
things?
he's definitely in a gimp outfit at home. That's
she had said that she had actually, I didn't know this, but she had done the Content Cop. She worked on Content Cop with him back in the day. But she's never apologized for the N-word. Only Ian apologized for that. And she was the mastermind behind it.
No, that's a great point, because she wants to. I always got the feeling that she wanted the credit. Like, oh yeah, no, I worked on that. But then it was her idea to go stalk Tana and do the N-word thing. And like you said, Ian's been out there apologizing, and then she's the one accusing me of being like not woke enough or whatever. And it's like, dude, you're the N-word girl. You're N-word girl.
Yeah, you're responsible.
Where's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone needs to put an N on her forehead.
Don't do that.
And for what? Yeah. Oh, because she's the N-word girl. Yeah, I see. No, don't say the word. I was just, don't say the word. Let's see here. Is this an abuse fetish? I don't know. Or is he just like really pathetic? I don't know. It's very interesting though. We have so many like points of view now. Yeah. And you know, listen, oh, it sounds, you're saying, yeah, it could be abusive, but at a certain point, it is definitely abusive, it sounds like. But at a certain point, where does he just become like a collaborator? I don't know.
He's a collaborator.
That's what I felt like too, because some of the times it was him, and then some of the times it was her, but then some of the times it was actually him, and she was actually the one keeping him like to stay the course. But at the same time, he didn't want to box, and she was the one that wanted him to box. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, you know, here's a good example. Like when the whole Froggy Fresh thing happened, right? They were actually at our home because one of our mutual friend, David Benavides, who's a pro boxer, he was fighting that night. And Ian had met David Benavides through one of the YouTube podcast events that we were doing and at the gym, at the Benavides gym here in Washington. And so Michael and I paid out of our own pocket to get pay-per-view. We invited Ian and Anisa over to watch the fight of David Benavides. And because the Froggy Fresh drama went down, they spent the whole time in my bedroom on Twitter reading all the comments. And it was the craziest thing ever. And that's when I was like, damn it. Because look at them. They were reading it and Ian was like, oh, Tiffany 465 says this. I think that's a great comment. And then Anissa's like, what about this comment? And it was the craziest.
They were trying to find people that stuck up for him and didn't stick up for him. And meanwhile, I'm like, hey, Ian, the guy that you just met is fighting in a world championship fight. Let's watch this fight. But he couldn't even watch the fight because they were so caught up in like the Twitter comments.
Yeah.
What was it that happened? Did he drop his video? Or I remember Froggy made this comment about how he would, if he lost, he'd subscribe to her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It was really because Froggy worked with Sam. And once Froggy worked with Sam, Ian was super offended.
Yeah.
And so Ian was really, really offended by that.
Harley worked with Sam.
I know.
Dude, and those videos were funny. Those videos were hilarious.
I think they let Harley go because you know, like, he's so cool and they don't want to like take him off the card, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he kind of did it beforehand too.
Yeah.
And then afterwards they kind of were like not cool with it.
Was that what happened? You did it before?
Well, he never told me that I couldn't work with Sam. I just, as a person that spoke with Sam and spoke with Ian, I noticed that they had bad vibes between the two of them.
Yeah.
So for Creator Clash 2, I just opted to not work with Sam because then he got it. He understood that they had this whole beef thing. And then Froggy, he had gone and worked with Sam. And then there was an issue of Froggy, you know, I don't want to speak for him, but I believe he felt that they were overstepping their boundaries of who he could work with or not work with. Yep. I didn't know that the whole thing was because of Sam until Ian unveiled it months later. I thought it was because Froggy made a joke about Anisa, and then they doubled back on that.
I thought it was insane that he actually just admitted that blatantly. He's like, oh, he got kicked because he was training with Sam. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why did you even admit that?
Yeah, they tried to use the video as kind of the last straw. And I mean, keep in mind, they would come to me sometimes and say things, and I'm not involved with that type of world. So they're like, yeah, this guy said if he loses, that he's going to have to subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans, and he's so disrespectful. And I'm like, well, it's your event. Fuck, if you don't feel like you want somebody on your event, then don't have him on your event. And then, truthfully, it ended up causing way more drama than it should have, and he brought way more attention to it than he should have. So it's like, if I would have been in the know, I probably would have said, man, just ignore it, let it be. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, like, Ian would never say my name. At least when Sam would make videos about me, he might have been talking shit, but they were pretty funny.
That's
and
funny.
He'd be like, Michael Briggs did this.
So
Michael
Sam
Briggs.
Hyde did more to promote you.
Yeah, I was super happy. I was
Then
super happy when Sam Hyde did that video, and I saw that there was like 11,000 views. And I was like, look, babe, my
Yeah.
content's finally out.
Oh, yeah.
My filming is out.
He had videos that were like talking shit about me, but they had like 100,000 views. So we were like, fuck, that's more than Ian's ever done for
That's
me.
crazy. That's crazy.
And
the
also, like
first
I said,
creator
it was funny.
clash. Yeah, the first creator clash, Sam had a major presence there, even though he physically wasn't there. I did see a lot of shirts,
right?
A bunch of Sam Hyde, and something that has that type of what's it called? Like it's
an allure.
hard to
It's
get people
it's
to
intrigue.
move. Yeah, and people were there. They were wearing his T-shirt and stuff like that. And I had a lot of people that watched Sam and watched the documentary that watched Creator Clash. But you know, I guess it was like picking and choosing who could be a part of the event.
Right.
Yeah. That whole thing was so stupid.
Yeah, they brought more attention to it, not letting him be there, than they would have if he would have just been there. Like so.
It was the craziest thing because Anisa said to me, she's like, Kate, you don't understand. Ian and I both believe that Sam Hyde would really come and find me and would actually murder me. So that's the reason why we have to take all these precautions. And I was just like, are you sure?
I was like, I think the guy's a millionaire. I was like, I don't think he's gonna risk his freedom to kill you. But okay.
Okay, so Sam is definitely an unpredictable, like high level troll, but I don't believe that he actually I don't think their security was in risk. Why would he kill him?
Well, Creator Clash 1, he bought a ton of seats. He bought like a table right next to the ring that was like over $10,000
Yeah,
or something.
what do
He
you
had all
think
his
about
guys
that,
there.
Harley? Do you think Ian was right to cancel that? Or
I've always been at a place where there are so many decisions I would have done differently, but I've always acknowledged, okay, this is your event, do whatever. When Froggy got kicked off the card, I remember calling to be like, yo, so this is so much drama unfolding, and he was like, oh yeah, I just told Froggy he's not on the card. And I was like, oh, that's gonna not go over well. And I still understood his logic, not the Sam thing. I thought it was for insulting his wife, so I understood. I'm like, yeah, back your wife, sure. But I was still like, people are gonna feel away 100%. And you know, they really, and now that I know that there were so many other people working at Creator Clash other than them, if I were their partners, I would have been like, who cares? Let that guy come here. Who cares about any of that? Let him fight. It's a YouTube boxing event. You know, let it all happen. Or,
I mean, if he was really
there was a lot of
worried-
gatekeeping.
Right.
Gatekeeping this event. That's the less gatekeeping there is, the more successful it could be for charity.
Right. Correct. And also, like, that guy would have promoted it too. So.
And at that time, we were under the impression that it was still for a charity, right? So I thought to myself, well, why are you going to refund $10,000 that could have gone to charity? But now we all know the truth. It didn't go to charity.
And the event lost money, so it's not a great look.
That was for the first one.
Oh, that was for the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that was the thing, is they could be like, it was just 10,000, we raised 1.3 million, which once again, I was always telling Ian, I would always say, be proud of your work. Be proud of your work. And so, for example, when he came onto your show for the second Creator Clash, we weren't with him for that event, for that interview. So he goes on the show and he tells you that he's been boxing for 2 years now and all these other things, when in reality, he took freaking 6 months off to make a show with that Dax kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why wouldn't you go on to your show and promote what he was doing? Instead, he didn't promote what he was doing. He pretended like he was boxing the whole time. And for me, I'm like, I'm your boxing coach, and I can tell you never once showed up in 6 months. So now it's going to make me look worse if you tell people you're on year 2 of boxing, but you took 6 months off.
Can you guys spend a lot of time with them? Is there any other creators they specifically didn't like or that they were talking about?
We have to tell you guys about how, like, was it the real estate guy?
Oh, Stephen Graham. Oh man,
Yeah.
He pissed her off.
Stephen,
because- yeah.
Hold on. Let me pull up. He's the finance guy, right? Oh, he bought in the first one, right?
Yep. Super nice.
So wait, what did he? Yeah, he just seems like a pretty like. Wait, what?
He's a great person.
One,
this is a different Stephen Graham, right? Like,
No, I thought it was Graham Stephan.
Yeah, that's the guy from the Irish.
Yeah, Graham Stephan.
Graham
Yeah.
Stephan. Okay, I was like, he kind of looks like him.
What's up, you
Yeah,
guys?
it did almost look like him. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we know this guy. He's the finance guy.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
Very nice. And like,
So what happened? How did he piss off Anisa?
So he owns properties. No, I'm just well, that was kind of it. But when they did his show, because we went to Vegas to promote the event, And when he went to do his podcast, he didn't have a chair for her. So she was super offended by that. She was so pissed.
Jewish.
Yeah.
Did he not get her a chair? Is he
No,
by
no.
chance Jewish?
I don't know.
What's that?
Is he Jewish?
Oh,
I don't-
Stefan, good question. Good question. Yeah.
They're obviously Jewish.
Well, she might have thought so. If you hear,
Yeah, she might have thought so. She was so pissed because he had her. She was complaining about it, and he had a chair for Ian, but not one for her. So she had to sit in the back, far away, and she wasn't in frame. And so she thought that was so offensive that he would, like do a podcast with Ian and not.
wait,
give
let me
her.
pull that up. I want to see what the I'm going to see. it.
Graham's producer is actually a fan of our show. He's invited me and Lean out to dinner
that's
when we were
nice.
in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. Graham was great. Graham was super nice.
He's
Like
a nice
Michael
kid.
Reeves was great. Graham was great. Like I
Oh,
tried
yeah,
to help
Mike-
Graham
yeah.
a lot.
So, I'm trying to pull it up. Wait, this is not. I want to see their interview. The iced coffee hour, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Iced
believe so,
coffee hour. I'm just curious what the set situation was like. Oh, look at his dumb ass all beat up.
Yeah,
Hey,
no room
all
for
you
her.
frugal warriors out there. Welcome back to another episode of the Iced Coffee Hour podcast featuring Graham, Stefan, and Jack Harlow. We are now up to $136,083.
Nice.
That's a good guess.
Is it
Great
even?
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, 198,000.
So let me just kind of
heard him.
So they have a limited space. It seems like they have like a very specific.
I would feel
set.
terrible
Let me
if I
see.
like even.
I'm a professional podcaster, so I can look at this and
Yeah.
I can say what happened, right?
This is not what podcasts are.
Okay, listen, I've got
Horrible.
credentials. You have no credentials. Where does he get off saying that?
You've chosen essentially the Keemstar.
Can they hear that, Dan? Okay, good. So it seems like they just have a preset thing here, right? Like that seems. Or maybe they were just like this. This girl's annoying.
Yeah, to be honest, I just think they wanted Ian to interview.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to interview Ian.
Yeah, and he's the fighter, and
Well,
he's
he's
the
bo- and
guy.
he's
Well, I
boxing.
mean, yeah, what the
Right.
fuck? Why do you have to be in everything, Anisa? Sit back, sit down.
So wait, I gotta tell you this before I forget, Ethan. So like when we came to LA with them that first time, right, to be on your show,
Yeah.
it was so interesting because those two are very unprofessional. They're bad with communication, and they don't ever tell us anything ahead of time. So it's always last minute, right? So basically, the day before we were supposed to come on your H3 podcast, she was like, "Oh, I gotta get back to the hotel. I gotta rest and prep myself because I have a podcast tomorrow," and made it seem like it was just her. And so we're like, "Oh wow, maybe she's like this big YouTuber and she's gonna go on a podcast and we're just gonna follow her around." Turns out it was actually about Ian and the Creator Clash. You know what I mean? So she acted like she was going on H3 for her.
We're eating
It was-
breakfast,
yeah.
so we go to eat breakfast in a hotel, and she's like, "I have a podcast today."
Yeah.
And then Ian didn't say anything, so we're like, "Oh, she has a podcast, but Ian doesn't have a podcast." And then we go to Super Mega House,
Oh, yeah.
and it was Ian's podcast, and we're like, "Why didn't Ian say he had a podcast today?" Instead, she kept talking about how she had a podcast to do, and it was so odd because then when we got there, it was like, "Wait, this is Ian's podcast."
I don't know if I've noticed that when they come on together, she does most of the talking. I'm struck by a memory a long ago when they started dating at our old office back in the day. That was a long time ago, and Ian was like the content cop guy back then, and she was there, and there was kind of a narrative about how she was like just kind of a clout demon, and she was. I was like, "Do you want to sit in with us?" And then Ian actually was like, "No, she doesn't. She's not going to be in it." Like he asserted himself, and I was like, "Wow, that seems like he's pretty guarded about putting her on camera," because and it seemed to me that she was disappointed, and he was trying to protect himself and his image. But obviously, a lot has changed since then.
Right. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Pretty
told
much
me
everything.
that the reason why we moved away from LA was because she had all these friends that wanted to use Ian and just take from him.
Oh my
And
God,
so-
she's so doing textbook isolating him.
Yeah, she's isolating him. And literally, besides me and Michael in the gym, he doesn't have any friends.
Wait, this
And she
is
has no
actually
friends.
really
He
sad.
has no friends as well. It's ridiculous.
That's why I would feel bad for him.
Yeah.
That's why I felt bad all the time. I'm like,
It's
man,
so
it's
hard.
just sad.
Yeah.
And Graham
Jeez.
Stefan's a Jew.
He is?
What?
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT.
There it is. I fucking knew it. I knew it. No wonder she hates him, right?
That's so surprising. The money YouTuber? Crazy. You never
Stop it, Harley. Stop it.
Let me have fun. I thought that's what podcasting is.
We're more than that, Harley.
Yes.
Jewish.
Jewish.
So Griffin, so that's funny. So that was any other creators that they were all hyped out about?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to remember who else.
I know that they you know what's sad is because they speak poorly about Dad, you know, Nathan Barnett all the time.
Really?
And, yeah, they do. They just say he's a weirdo and he does crazy stuff.
Yeah, but are they lying?
But they.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm go joking around.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, well, he's a strange guy, but that didn't sound like they said it in a good way.
It's sad because you know why? I see all the heart that Nathan puts into the Creator Clash. I see, you know, how much he cares about Ian and Nisa. And so for Ian and Nisa to throw those kind of comments around when we're about to go meet, Dad, it's just like, it's sad because we see him and then his eyes light up. He's so happy that it's Ian and Nisa, you know? But but they talk so much shit about him all the time.
I had a little tiff with Dad, but everything's all good. Water under the bridge. But he seems like a very sweet, interesting,
yes,
guy. But definitely passionate about boxing and putting on a great show for them. I mean, from Creator Clash 1, his fight with Matt was the one that everyone was talking about. Joe Rogan watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. And she was upset.
Why does it
She wanted all the credit.
Yeah.
So they used to call him a weirdo.
Yeah, but he literally had some of the most viral moments of both shows. So, another person that I know they didn't like the William Haynes, was it?
Oh yeah, the one that fought on 62.
Yeah. Well, they didn't like his post-fight speech.
Yeah.
And a lot of us thought it was hilarious.
He said the Anisa word.
Which guy? What's his name?
Was it William Haynes?
William Haynes, right?
From SourceFed. He said the
Is he
the
Jewish?
N-word at the end.
No, I don't know.
If he wants.
So okay, hold on.
He's a really nice guy. I love Will.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
So
Is
that's
this
what I'm
him? This
saying.
guy seems like older. This guy was born in
no,
900.
No, he's black.
1900. Oh, not him. Okay.
Our Will Haynes is.
He died. This guy's been dead apparently for 60 years or something.
That was the thing. He wasn't. I don't think he was as big as some of the other people as far as like his
Can
following.
someone send me a list of this guy? He's losing out on this Google search to someone who died a decade ago.
SourceFed. He was on SourceFed.
Wait,
HAYNES.
Oh, okay. So he fought. Oh,
Yeah, he was
SourceFed.
Froggy
upset with
Fresh.
his post-fight speech. But he was he was one of the people that like came out and he on his IG and all these other things, he still promotes the event all the time.
He's very supportive.
And so I'm like, a lot of the people that like supported it the most or got the most out of it, like Dad or him, are also people that they were like, I don't know.
They didn't care for.
Is this
Right.
it?
Yes, that's him.
That's him. Yeah.
Is this because it says this is the weirdest post-fight speech ever? Because I'm curious what he said. Hold on. But this speech was given in the ring after the fight.
Yeah.
Shout out to
find that?
Dynamic Banter, by the way. Shout out to Dynamic Banter.
You know who that is?
Yeah, that's Steve Zaragoza's podcast. He's a good guy. They were on a
Shout
show
out.
together. This is old YouTube. Even before you were even on YouTube, Ethan.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
No,
bro.
you come from another age, my friend, for sure.
Yeah, you were vaping on the streets.
I wasn't. Probably not even that far in life.
Will used to be in some of Casey's old videos. Casey Neistat.
Oh, so you love him?
Yeah.
They're fighting for your life.
I would pay very good money to be in.
What are they doing? Why did they edit between every single word? I'm sorry, but what a dynamic
That's what I
banter.
learned. You should not have to.
Watch
give
how
a
they
speech
edited this guy.
after fighting for your life.
I would pay very good money to be in that booth while that's happening. This is the first time for.
What just happened?
I think it's AI
I
trimming.
would be very good.
First time for me in.
So here it is. Okay.
It's like cut to William Haynes, and he's gonna say something nice.
And we're
probably.
All you mean so much to me. I can't do none of this without the line and
Oh, he says the lion hose. So he say all the hoes mean so much to me? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's doing a gag.
What does he say? What does he say? What does he say?
I came here to take ass and bring names, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Cut to the wide. Cut to the wide. Commercial.
And that's what I learned.
So he said, I want to thank all the hoes tonight. I'd be nowhere without you. And then what did they? Because that seems like obviously it's a gag, right? But also this is a boxing event, and also you're the N-word guy and girl. You guys are the N-word couple.
right.
So like, I mean, just a little hoe joke.
Yeah.
So what did they say about the speech?
Oh, they were super offended by it, and they were like, "Oh, I can't believe you did that." Like, there was a lot of stuff that they was just kind of in passing. Like, I wasn't ever really taking notes on all the people.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was just kind of, there was so much. Plus, there was, I mean, a lot happened in those 2 years, and yeah, a lot of it. Like, I thought there was going to be a damn documentary on, so I thought a lot of this stuff would have came out, but it never did. So
there was a moment where I thought she was going to get upset with AB, like during the, I believe, second Creator Clash, because she came to the gym one day, and I don't know if this rings a bell, but because I don't know the YouTube world, right? But she says somewhere along the lines of like, there was like an AI sexual thing or a video that was done, and I guess like AB either shared it or like knew about it.
There's no way that's true, AB, right?
And that,
he's like, what?
Yeah. And then she was like, I find that so offensive. Like, I'm gonna have to talk to him. And then
I think she's referring to the cutie Cinderella thing.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Is that
problem,
was
though,
that
but
the
that's-
bridge
but
too
that's the
far for her?
problem.
Yeah, I guess she brought it to the gym.
But what does it have to do with
Everyone
AB? Yeah, it has nothing to do with AB. You're gonna have to talk to AB about something I did.
Yeah.
Over open fire.
Sometimes you just take
This
an
is for
opportunity
this is for
to talk to
Ian's
AB.
career and reputation.
For sleeping at your door.
Give me a sec here, guys, just to enjoy the moment.
There's a live Eskimo. Everybody know.
Have you ever seen such a flawless victory in your life? Chestnuts roasting. Jack Frost. Frosting. I don't know what's the words. Thank you, Zach. Thank you to Anook.
By the way, for the record, a lot of people don't know why a lot of us were laughing in that moment. It wasn't actually the Chestnuts moment. It was just the way that it played out.
It was awkward. It was coarse. It
very
was
awkward.
It was
You know what I
nobody
mean?
should be blamed for anything that happened in the office other than me.
Well,
Like,
it was.
thank you for
It was
saying
more that
so.
you
Obviously,
kept telling
right?
Zach to play
Obviously.
it, and then as soon as he did, you blamed Zach. So
I
that's-
told Zach to play. I bullied him into playing it.
Totally did.
Zach was
You
like, "I'm
tried
not
to throw
doing
him
it," and
under
I
the
said,
bus. That's why
"Play
we were
it."
laughing.
You guys have no idea what we're talking about. That's okay. We'll move on. So you guys had mentioned you hung out with Ian one time without Anisa, and he was normal.
Oh my God, it was so nice.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is the sparring sessions that we had, or just the week that she was gone, was the most normal he ever was. That's why I remember on his show or on your show, he said that without Anisa, he's super awkward, and I was like, that's not true at all.
Opposite.
Like, you became famous without her.
Yeah, she convinced
Like, what
him
the
that's
hell are
true.
you talking about? And then when anytime he was there without her, after sparring, a lot of times like the guys all hang out together, and that's usually when she would interrupt it and then tell him he had to leave. But then when she wasn't there, he'd hang out for like an hour and a half after his training session and just like hang out, talk to the guys, watch training. He actually seemed like he liked it at those points. So it was very odd that sometimes he would seem like he hated boxing, and then other times like that when she was gone, he would hang out for an hour and a half after the session.
Yeah, you would see moments of him breaking through and being his true self, and then I would have hope for him. But then she would go and like have like a talking point, and then he would back her. So then I'm just like, you know what? Forget it. I don't feel sorry for you anymore, Ian. I'm tired.
I didn't know sometimes because sometimes he would say that she's the one like keeping him on the boxing path, and then other times I felt like she was kind of the reason that it was hard for him. So it was hard to figure out if he's in charge or if she's in charge.
Right.
Because some of the times it seemed like, okay, Ian's in charge and this is what's going on. And then other times he would say things and you're like, that's her words. Like, that's not your words at all.
That's such a bizarre freaking way to navigate the world, man. What's
She
going
did have
on?
a moment at the. Sorry.
Oh, go
I was
ahead.
going to say she had a moment at the gala, Creator Clash 2, where she gave a speech, and she had gone up there. And I remember she said her speech began with, "When I gifted Ian boxing."
What?
And then she went
when
on to
I
explain
gifted
it. And
Ian boxing?
we're always fascinated by that choice of words, and it's something my partner and I, my
How do you
podcast partner,
get
we always.
that's
That's what we always say. We always do that whenever someone's doing something they enjoy. I'm like, well, ever since I gifted you video games,
Wow.
you finally
What a
enjoy
weird
them.
comment. All right, this next question is very salacious, so it's totally up to you. You can pretend like you don't even know what I'm talking about if you want. But what I've heard is that she was hitting on one of his sparring partners and was obsessed with him and gave him a VIP pass to the event.
A lot of his sparring partners got the passes, but she definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. And then even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it. And then
I want to say that I want to say that before. So Anisa never gave shout outs to Michael training Ian at all, but she put out the first video of Ian like getting rocked in sparring when Ian was sparring with her crush. Yeah,
it was our friend Gabe.
She shared it. And we have a clip too. You guys can share.
I would call him Gorgeous Gabe.
He's a beautiful guy.
Yeah, he's got tattoos. He's large. He's tan.
He's tatted up.
Yeah,
I have tattoos. Nobody calls me gorgeous.
He has very nice tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, they're nice. Thanks.
We can actually clear it up. Like, they literally did say that when they go get tattoos, they either point at the wall and get one off the wall, or what they would do, they would tell the tattoo artist that if he had a tattoo he really wanted to do, then he could just do it on them.
Yes.
And so, like, all of these tattoos meant nothing except to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so odd to just go in and say, hey, I'm like,
agree more.
She was putting tattoos all over Ian.
Yeah, during his
We're like,
fight
what
camp.
the hell? This is crazy.
The fact that their tattoos are like the same makes me think, like, why did he do that? Why did he do all the whole everything around? Just, I don't know. And listen, you can make fun of my tattoos all you want, but mine are sentimental. They have meaning.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's funny because everyone says like, oh, you just picked like a random tattoo out of the 25 cents gumball machine, whatever. But that sounds like it is what they did. They were just picking something on the wall.
That's why I was like, I want to clarify, because I always hear people talking about how they chose their tattoos. They didn't choose their tattoos. They walk in and they say, hey, tattoo whatever you want on them. There's only a couple of tattoos that, like, I'm sure Anisa probably was in control of a lot of hers, but most of Ian's, I think the only one he chose was like the eagle on his chest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything else. Oh, and then she had this story too about how this girl had a crush on Ian at the gym and was asking about tattoos. And I'm like, that story was never true. That girl has like, she's married with children and has her own life. She just also does like tattoos. What's that?
It's projection.
Yes, completely. Yes. Well, in my opinion, because you've already exposed her for being like the first person that Ian's ever been with, right?
Yes.
So in my opinion, what happened was she even told us, she used to always tell her mom, I'm going to be with a millionaire. And so we think that once she
used
kind
to
of got
tell her mom that she would be with a millionaire. How do you know
Her
that?
mom told her that it had to be someone rich.
How did you know that?
Well, she told us.
She would tell us that.
It was, I remember exactly. It was when we were in Vegas going to the other podcast, and we were inside the Uber, and we were with Ian and Anisa. And Anisa said that like her mom only had two expectations for her to marry someone that was rich and also to be of her religion, right? And so she said that Anisa goes, well, I mean, I didn't get someone that was of my religion, but at least I got one part of it right. He's rich. And then she like laughed about it, and then he was in the car, and you could tell he was bothered by it.
I was bothered.
Who wouldn't be bothered by that?
This is so awesome.
Yeah, this is on. It's like a fountain.
This is awesome.
That's really great.
I felt like she was always trying to control him because she was the first girl he'd ever been with.
Yeah.
So I felt like she didn't want other people. I felt like that was.
Did you know that?
With them.
That he lost. You knew that?
He said he claimed.
Just to verify, because people were like, "Oh, you're making that up." You guys are co-signing. He was a virgin.
Well, he claimed he was with one other woman before her.
Oh.
So what Anisa told us was that
at camp.
Button.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So Anisa told us that Ian had a girlfriend, but he never had sex with her, and that she was a single mom.
So he lied. What?
Yeah,
He was with
and
a single
that's
mom?
like he couldn't get anybody.
I heard this.
So like this.
He was dating a single mom?
Well,
It was something about some sort of MILF at rock climbing or something.
Yes. Rock climbing.
Oh, rock climbing MILF with a child, and then they never had sex?
Only single player.
So hold on. So he says they had sex, but she says they didn't have sex.
I couldn't figure it out, but I swear.
So Anisa told me directly that like he dated a single mom and it went nowhere, and he didn't know how to be in a relationship. So then they just kind of like broke up after a little bit, and then when Anisa met him, he was still living with his parents, right?
Yep.
And then she convinced him that he had to move out of his parents' house and buy a house, or she was going to break up with him because she needed him to be a real man.
Yeah.
And so that's when he took his $1 million of money and went and bought that house that they lived in.
But also, then you saw on Discord that she said that his room at his parents' house stunk like trash, is what she told her people on Discord. So it's like, no wonder why she wanted him to move out of that house. His room stunk like trash.
She wanted him to move out because she wanted to get her claws deeper.
I think the stink follows him. It's probably not the trash.
But so literally, she was the first person that he had ever really
You
been
know
with.
what? I got to say something. Toxic gender norms. She was bragging about how she bagged a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a toxic gender norm.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bask in that. Toxic. You know, you need a man to buy her a house, a real man. I mean, this is toxic femininity right here.
Yeah. I'm the toxic one, though.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're pushing this poor guy who's going to go fight.
No, that was what was crazy to me is I'm like, if I'm the toxic one, why is it when you say something, everyone talks shit in my comments, but when I say something, I wasn't creating any toxic drama. Like all the toxic drama was following him, but yeah, I was the toxic person. I was like, this is crazy.
What did you guys think when he dropped that content cop on me right before the event? I
was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, because he said he was going to do a content cop. So I figured it would be somebody. There's plenty of people online that talk shit about him. So we were like, oh, it's probably going to be somebody that constantly talks shit about him and his podcast and Anisa. And so then when he did it on you, like I was shocked. I was
Me
like,
too.
he literally attacked the one person that promoted his event more than he did. That got a lot of fans. That's part of why I was like, man, I wanted to do your show, or wanted to at least put our side of the story out, because you were one of the people that was most supportive to him, and yet he chose to do the content cop on you. And I'm like, that must have been like Anisa's doing, in my
100%. That's what it had to be. This all had to be her idea. Because, I mean, listen, but I don't want to also. You know, I don't want to excuse Ian being a scumbag, but like the way that they talk about it is like, my wife is half Irish and half Lebanese. So we understand what it means to fight the oppressor, and I'm just like, that is what? The fuck? Like Anisa's never left North America, from what I can tell.
We would get in arguments sometimes because she would talk about how dangerous America is. Like, so after my dad had died, I went to Manchester, and my dad lived in a very, very ghetto area of Manchester. He lived on government housing out there, so it was a super dangerous area. There was people getting stabbed all the time, arsons all the time. So I told her when I was out there, I was like, yeah, it's a dangerous place. She's like, America's dangerous. I'm like, okay, but there's other dangerous places too. But she would always try to just be like, America's so dangerous, and act like America is this worst place ever. And she would always talk about how she's like anti-capitalism. I'm like, your favorite shopping mall is Bellevue Square, which is like where all the rich people go in Bellevue, but you're a communist.
Well, you know, the irony, and it sticks with all of them, it's these socialist communists that are always like, I'm going to secretly take 34% and give the fighters 1%, and I'm not going to give a bonus to my actually working class and you two who are working your butts off, and I'm gonna stiff them. And let me prove to you guys. I'm gonna make a proclamation right here, as the resident capitalist. This was not discussed beforehand. This was not offered in any way. You guys are hearing this for the first time. You had no incentive to do this other than your rageful. We all mutually despising these two evil people. I'm putting words into your mouth a little bit, but I want to say here that I, the capitalist, will once again be ponying up for the right cause. It is not right that he stiffed you guys. I'm going to be sending you guys $5,000 for the bonus that you never got.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Because he should have never fucked you guys.
That's insane.
It's my pleasure to do it. I'm going to send you guys that money. You should have got more than it from him, frankly. But once again, let's just bask. Hassan doesn't pay his moderators. His mods are on stream begging for money.
Look
right?
it up.
Yet, like, look at me, right? Go ahead, Tom. Say something nice about me.
You're just an amazing person. You look very handsome in the suit today.
That's
You're
what my mom
generous
says.
with your money. You're just all around good guy, good family guy, great dad and husband.
Thank you. Commonest never.
I'll say thanks for reimbursing me and Lena for her training. That was very nice. The check cleared.
I can't believe you're giving me $5,000. This is crazy, dude. I was coming here just for That's nuts.
Oh, you said, sorry, I didn't hear you. You said you were going to give him money too, Harley?
Yeah, Harley.
What'd you say?
No, but basically what I'm driving as, I want the best for you guys. It's totally unfair how you guys got stiffed. So I want to promote you. What are you guys working on right now? Like, where can people go support you?
So I'm working on trying to get my own gym going. My business is called Bonafide Boxing. I'm on Instagram on Bonafide Boxing. We're gonna start doing more on the YouTube channel. We haven't done anything for a long time, but everything you can usually find me on Bonafide Boxing. But we are trying to open our own gym. We actually had asked Ian if he could help us open the gym, not even financially, because at the time we were okay. So we were like, hey, could you just help us out by signing as a guarantor? And he had told us in no world could he ever help us.
He said that?
Literally.
He said it like in a mean way?
In no world. He said, in no world could I help you.
Why would he respond like that?
He did.
Yeah.
He
so
did.
Wait, why? When was that? When did he say that?
That was
right after the second creator class.
Yeah, it was
in no world can I help you?
September of 2020. It was actually like a year
It was
after.
July. No, I know exactly. And I know exactly because I remember when we found that spot. So we found a spot in July 2023 after CC2. And I didn't think that like the 250K hit them that hard because when they made it seem like, oh, they're fine and they're moving on and all these other things, right? And so Michael and I had the capital for our business, but we needed a personal guarantor to help us because we have a new LLC. And so I told Michael, maybe we should ask Ian and Anisa because when they came to us, they had no fight promoter, they had no manager, they had nothing. They were just the two of them, and we didn't know who the hell they were, right? But we stuck it out with them, and we helped them. So even if they couldn't be that personal guarantor for us, they can guide us, right? They can be like, hey, let me give you some referrals or something.
Let me put you in, yeah, right.
Yeah, but instead they responded with, in no world would we or would we like help you guys.
Why so mean? Why were they so mean?
And I believe that was Anisa texting, not Ian, because those are her words. She always uses the words in no world.
Yeah,
that's her favorite word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In no world, Anisa?
So
should you ever be running an event again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank God. Well, yeah. But so we were trying to open a gym that hasn't gone through, but we're still working on it. But otherwise, I'm right now I'm working on getting a couple guys into the UFC. I have a couple pro boxers that I'm working with as well. Yeah. So where a couple of my fighters are really close. Actually, one of my fighters was supposed to be fighting on the UFC this weekend, but he had got a concussion. Oh no! So he wasn't able to get
just
into
like
Anisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, exactly like that. But it was a real one. It was a real.
It's a real one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
real one. CT scans.
But I have a website, bonafideboxing.com, and we do have apparel, like the T-shirt I'm wearing now. We have like mugs. We have coffee mugs and
Get
stuff.
some merch. I like the name Bonafide.
I followed this guy for years. Great follow
Bonafide
on
Boxing is a
Instagram.
great name, by the way.
I like mugs.
I like
Thank
she
you.
likes mugs.
By the way, Michael, I know I put you in my YouTube video, but I actually do have footage to make a documentary. Hopefully one day when I find time. But you are definitely in that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't worry. You didn't pay a team to fucking film it and then tell everyone you're making a documentary and then like tell people that are helping you, being like, I'm gonna put you in this documentary. It's gonna be great for you, and then not do it. So you're good, baby.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a documentary released on, I believe it was April 16th, per our contracts with Creator Clash 3. I had a guy come out and spend like a full day with me doing all that stuff to capture for Creator Clash 3, but it never came out. That doc never came out. The footage, there was like a guy they hired in Tampa. It never came out, and it was supposed to come out on the 16th, which did make like the multiple drama-infused videos seem a little bizarre to people that were in the event because the documentary stuff was supposed to come up. But what happens with the footage, the Creator Clash 1 and 2 documentary footage? I mean, essentially that's kind of interesting footage now. It has more it's more fascinating now than ever before, I'd say.
Yeah, I thought I missed the mark. I thought it was too late, but now there's a resurgence in interest. So
yeah, there is.
I might have
now
to split
there
it up. It was like super positive, so maybe it's like
can you just make? Can you edit it so it's just Michael?
Yes, please.
I also have Kate
Michael Brick's supercut.
spraying me for spray tan also.
Oh yeah, I heard the infamous spray tan. Excellent. This is by the way, this is the biggest expose of the day. Here is Ian by himself in a Denny's. And it looks like the bathroom is off. Yeah, this appears to be real. The bathroom has been sectioned off as a crime scene. My God. And then he's got a bunch of paper towels. Why has he got paper towels?
There's big wipes.
For
big boy wipes.
Oh, because he clogged the toilet? Well, this is a whole crime scene. And then he's got mayonnaise and a Coke. What is happening, Ian? And he's crying. Ian, what the fuck, man?
I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys know if he ever shit his pants or no?
I mean, we found that out through her. So we found out when everybody else did.
Yeah.
So she liked that, and so that was during his. I think that was during when he was trying to raise money for failing the second Creator Clash, and then she like threw that out there. So once again, that's something that we were just like, what the hell are you doing?
Just to summarize, he has bad breath. He shits his pants. He's cheap. I don't know if you guys saw that one. She's like, oh, he took a girl to Cheesecake Factory and didn't pay.
Yeah, we saw that.
And then she goes, I totally believe that. So he's cheap, shits his pants. He's got bad breath, and we're continually adding to the list. But basically, I can only add stuff that Anisa herself has said.
Yeah.
Well, with all that being said, guys, what a conversation it's been. Thank you guys for spending so much time with us. It was fascinating from beginning to end. And Kate, I'm not done, because Kate, I wanted to ask you brought up, when we were chatting a bit before the show, I brought up your working on some really interesting activism where you were, this is not interesting, it's really shocking and sad that you yourself were a child bride.
Yes. So I'm a child bride survivor, and at the age of 12, I was put into a child marriage from the time I was 12 until 23. Within my child marriage, I had 2 kids when I was 15 and 17. And this happened in America, okay? And Ian and Anisa are well aware of my story because I've had them in my home. They've seen my kids and everything. And so last year, right, 2024, I learned that there was a House bill in Washington State trying to pass House Bill 1455 to end child marriage. And so when I learned of this bill, I thought to myself, even though it had been 15 years since I escaped my prison, like, this is a chance for me to come forward and tell my story. I sent, so Michael and I went to Olympia in Washington. We met with politicians. We lobbied to support the bill. I gave my public testimony to support the bill. And, I was on Seattle Times and television and everything. And I reached out to Ian and Anisa, and I asked them if they could help, share the information, because it was really important to me that this bill passed. And they just both left me on red. But guess what? Today, when they saw the highlights on Ian's story that we were going to be on here, Anisa was texting me and Michael, and they were like,
They reached. Yeah. They ignored us when we were like trying to fight child marriage, but then when they found out,
Are they pro-child marriage?
They take a hard stance.
Makes one. Begs the question. Wait, so how? And if you're uncomfortable talking about this, refrain. But it sounds. How did you get married at 12?
So basically, in Washington State, there's no law to prevent parents from marrying their children. So as long as there's a parental consent, then the judge on it and it happens, it could just marry a child at the age of 2.
What?
Yes, and also I want to imply that I also want to let you guys know that last year after Michael and I worked so hard in Olympia in Washington to pass the bill was passed in March of last year, and the bill was signed by the governor at the end of March.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it became a law June 6th.
That's amazing. Is that a state bill?
Yeah, and then I also came out to California as well to support the bill in February of last year. But because of the politicians and they're more focused on their sponsors and not ending child marriage to protect children like me and survivors like me, the bill in California was actually trashed the day before it was supposed to go down.
Are you saying in California you can get married at any age with parental consent?
So
I did not know that. Know that.
We were trying to fight it in California too, and it looked like it was going pretty far. But then they pulled it back because, like she said, if one of their sponsors is against it, then they'll take the bill out.
Yeah,
who's against that? Who the fuck is against that?
So Planned Parenthood is actually hugely against ending the passing the bill.
Well, it was very complicated. So Planned Parenthood in Washington was for the bill. Planned Parenthood in California, they were scared to pass the bill because they were afraid if they made child marriage 18, then it would lead to contraceptives having to be at 18. But part of our argument was like contraceptives and those types of things are not those are time sensitive. Marriage is not time sensitive. So if some girl needed something for medical help or they needed access to abortion or they need access to birth control, that is time sensitive. But the marrying somebody is not time sensitive. So we didn't feel like it was going to affect it at all. But they were afraid. And there's actually literally the state Supreme Court said it can't be affected by that. But they were so worried that those things could lead to a path of that, like of you'll need to be 18 to get abortion or all these other things. So Planned Parenthood was against it. So we had to like really push against like, hey, like marriage and abortions are completely separate. We're not trying to take away like a woman's right to choose. We just don't want people to marry off their child.
Yeah.
Correct.
Dude, what?
Yes, and also the thing is this: if there's a child bride, right, and she gets into a marriage and she's being abused, right, which most case happens, right, they get abused.
Because if you have sex with a 12-year-old, it's still child.
But if you have a marriage license, it's okay.
Yeah.
No.
So it's statutory.
So if you get married, as a 12-year-old, he can have sex with you
as much as he wants. It's not. Yes. It's no longer. So that's the loophole to statutory rape.
Yes.
That's a loophole to pedophilia.
Yes, literally.
Yes.
Yeah, literally.
What?
Yeah, and so
that's crazy.
Yeah, one of the people
that's disturbing. Really disturbing. It's crazy that they're in favor of that.
Yeah, that's why I can't believe that Ian and Anisa wouldn't even like respond to me about it when we have been nothing but supporting to them. So that's when I was just like, you know what? This is actually a situation where I really needed their platform to like help spread the word that I want to help end child marriage. I'm coming forward with my story. I'm sharing it for the first time on public television. I'm testifying to support the bill publicly.
That sounds really important.
Hard,
Very brave.
And they just put me on red.
Yeah,
I'm blown away. I'm frankly blown away that this is happening.
Yeah, and I'm going to be back in California again next year when the bill goes back down to
we'll go back to Sacramento.
So I'll let you guys know, my journey.
Absolutely, please
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
So how does that happen? How do you? But like, what's the arrangement like? Like your parents agreed for you to marry. Who was the person?
So I grew up. I came to America when I was 3 years old, and in my culture, my nationality is Hmong. And you can have more than Hmong.
Hmong?
Yeah, Hmong.
H-M-O-N-G.
H-M-O-N-G. Yeah. If someone can look that up too, that'd be great. Just because Hmong people don't have their own country. Yeah,
Whoa.
they originated out of the southern region of China, but then they resided in the mountains of Laos for a very long time.
Wow.
And then when the Vietnam War happened, our people were living in the jungles of Laos, just, no electricity, no running water, just surviving in the jungle. And it was the American CIA that actually approached our people, and they asked our people to help them, first line of defense, right? And in return, they would set up camps in Thailand for us. So all the women and children would have to flee the mountains of Laos, go to the refugee camp set up in Thailand. But there was a huge river that separated the two countries called the Mekong River. And so you would have to wait until nightfall, and then you have to either drug your children with opium and build a raft with bamboo shoots, and then swim across the river to make it to the camps. Once you get to the camps, you stay in the camps, and the camp is in a barbed wired valley of the mountain regions of Thailand. And you have to stay there until it's your time to come to America. Yeah. And so when the Americans pulled out of the Vietnam War, right, they just left. And because the organization was, the operation was ran by the CIA, it was classified. And so that's why nobody knew what happened to us and why all these Hmong people were showing up in America. It wasn't until like after the early 2000s when the early 2000s YouTube happened, and then when YouTube happened, the veterans that had retired went back to film the Hmong people that were still running for their lives, the Hmong people that were still stuck in the camps that didn't get to come to America. And then that's when they finally closed the camps down. They brought everybody over to America around 2006. And that's when Obama went to Laos. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Obama went to Laos, they put a big Band-Aid on it and they said, we're going to call this the Laotian Civil War, and that's the reason why we brought the Hmong people to America, and we're going to call this the Secret War. Yeah. Okay, so that's what happened at the end. But yeah.
So your mother was one of these refugees?
Yeah,
she was born in the refugee
camp. I was born in the refugee camp.
Yeah, she was born in the refugee camp.
Oh, you were born in Thailand in one of these places? Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah. I was born in. My parents remained in the camps for so long after the Americans pulled out of the Vietnam War. They met each other. They married. They had me. I was 3 years old, and then we finally came to the U.S. I think it was it was 88. Yeah, we came to the U.S. in 88, and I was 3 years old. We lived in Fresno, California, because the way they had the operation set up was California, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Those were like the 3 hubs in America where they would send all of our refugee Hmong people. And then we didn't have a country. So whenever we went to school, they would say, what are you? And I would say Hmong. Nobody would know. So a lot of Hmong people would just classify themselves as Laotian or Thai, but that's actually not true.
Right.
You know, there's a whole story behind it. Yeah, or they say Chinese, because they don't have to explain the heritage and everything. But for me, it's super important because our people played a huge role in supporting the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at 10 and a half, though, she was sent to live in Washington.
Yeah.
And then her aunt helped arrange
Yes. Yeah. So basically, like in my culture, a husband can have more than one wife, which is very sad. And daughters are only meant to be sold off as for dowry. And sons are the only one that are respected and put on a pedestal because they carry the last name of the family, right? And so, unfortunately, my mom had 5 daughters, no sons, and because of that, my dad left her. It was very sad.
Oh my goodness!
So I grew up in California. I grew up in Fresno, California, and I had it was me, my mom, and my 2 sisters. My dad left us, and we were on our own, And then my mom didn't feel like she could make decisions for herself because in my culture, you're a woman, so you have to rely on your elders and the men, right? And so because we couldn't practice the religion because we didn't have a man in the household, then we went to church. And then my aunt at the time was moving. My aunt and uncle were moving back to Washington, and they asked my mom if they could bring me with them at the age of I was like almost 11. I was like 10 and a half. Yeah. And so they asked if they could bring me with them because they had 5 kids, all under the age of 6 years old. And they wanted me to be their nanny and their helper,
Yeah, so she had to go raise her aunt's family at 10 and a half.
Yeah, and my mom couldn't say no because it's not allowed. You're not allowed to say no. So she allowed me to go with my aunt and uncle to Washington. And then when I got to Washington, I also lived a very sad life, because I lived in a 2-bedroom with 5 children. I had to take care of them. And it was really hard. But I tried to find the best in everything, that I had, because my life was very hard. And and so then when I was 12, my aunt brought me around to like the community, and I would work and stuff like at gatherings. And so someone spotted me, and they just thought like, oh, look at this little girl. She's super sweet, and she's super obedient, and she's very good at like washing dishes and all the house chores. So how about we buy her for our son? And that's what happened.
Yeah. And a lot of cultures, so I was just going to say, like, a lot of cultures will do dowries for girls, and like, don't really give them a lot of respect. Like, the men are supposed to, like, lead the way.
Yeah.
And it's really backwards, because in those cultures, the men end up becoming, like, children, you know? So,
yeah, and so I was married to someone who was older than me. I was only 12, and he was 19 years old. 3 months after marrying him, he was physically abusive to me right away. And it was the most difficult time of my life, because I had no friends, no access to anything. I had to be enrolled in 7th grade and tell the school that his parents were my parents, even though we didn't have the same last name. No one ever questioned, you know? And then no one questioned. Yeah, and his family had a farm, because they sold flowers at Pike Place Market. So I was also a farm slave while I was there. They would drop me off the farm, and I would work there until the evening, and they would come pick me up. It was my job to take care of his entire family's household, because they bought me. So I would take care of his.
Oh my God!
I would work at the farm. It was extremely hard. You know, and it was one of the most difficult times of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I finally escaped at 23 because I had my kids. Life was hard. But right after high school, I did Running Start. So I was already working in surgery and oral surgery. When I was 22, I applied to University of Washington, and I got accepted. When I had my first class at the University of Washington, I realized I'm actually fucking smart. Brainwashed me this whole time. They told me I couldn't have friends outside of the community. I couldn't have friends outside of his sisters. I couldn't go anywhere. They told me that the American people would reject me. If I was to ever leave, they would shit on me because I'm a single mom now and I don't have a husband. You know, so I was afraid that I would walk the same path as my mom. So that's why I suffered and stayed with abuse for so many years. It was really challenging, yeah. And also, I want to say, on the first day of 7th grade, after my marriage, my mother-in-law told me, she said to me, if you go to school and you tell the American people that you are in a child marriage, I want you to know that CPS is going to take your sisters away. You're never going to see them again. And they're going to put your mom in prison, and you'll never see her again. So what do you expect a 12-year-old to do, you know, in 99?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so who did they pay? Was it your mom or your like uncle and aunt?
So when we had the ceremony for the wedding, they gave $6,000 to my mom, right? But it was my aunt who actually arranged this whole thing.
$6,000?
Correct. $6,000. Yes. And my aunt, and we didn't know this at the time because, you know, like you don't really know, and you're not allowed to question in my community, right? Like in my culture, you don't question your elders. So I didn't know this at the time, but my aunt had a huge gambling problem. And so that's the reason why she actually, she put me in an arranged marriage. And then after that, my family got $6,000 for it. And then my mom had to give her $2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you raise a child to the age of 12? It's such I have young kids. It's such an intimate and you know, taxing and rewarding experience. But then how do you sell your child for $6,000?
Dude, I have a 10-year-old daughter. That's like 2 years older than I couldn't imagine.
It's very sad. You know, like I remember, like I just want to say that I remember the first time I got a job at Sears as a photographer when I was like 15 years old, going on 16, and I got my first paycheck, and I thought to myself, wow, I wonder if I could buy my freedom, you know, because they bought me for $6,000. So I wonder if I just made $6,000 and give it back to them, I would be free. But no, it was just constant abuse. There was no way out. At the end, it just got so bad. He even like, you know, my abuser even like put a gun to my head and told me that he told me that if I left him, he would shoot my children. He would shoot our kids and shoot himself. So I would have to live with the misery of ruining the family. You know, and even once I made the commitment to fully escape and leave him, I never went back. I got a restraining order, and even though I had a restraining order, he wanted to sabotage my life. So he would make continuous CPS calls against me, and I would have to be investigated. So that's completely why I sympathize with you and Gila, because why the hell are people making CPS calls to good parents when we're trying our best to take care of our kids? It's not easy. CPS is not easy. They make it very difficult, even if you have a restraining order against your abuser.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So how did you escape?
So it's so there's always been so many beatings in my life from my husband. After 3 months of living with him and his family. But the last straw for me was like I was 23 and he wanted me to, my abuser, my ex, he wanted me to clean the garage a certain way, and I didn't do it because I was upset that he like made a hole in the wall in our bedroom. Whenever he gets upset with me, he tries to break something that I love to control me. So he was upset with me, so he threw a chair in the wall, and he knows that I love the house because we bought a house, but it was under his name. I was the only one paying for the mortgage. And so he put a hole in the, he put a hole in the wall. So then after that, he wanted me to clean the garage. And then I said, I'm not going to do it. So then he got really pissed off. He said that he was going to go and watch a movie with the kids. And then when he came home, I needed to make sure that I do it or I was going to get my ass beat. And then I did everything in the house, laundry, everything, but I just didn't clean the garage. So then I'm sitting in the loft by myself and I'm folding the laundry. And then he comes up and he grabs me and he's like, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you clean the garage? And then I said, well, because I'm upset with you for making the hole in the house, in the wall. And then he said, well, you know what? I'm going to beat your ass now. And then so he started beating me and he just said to me, exactly, he said, you always know how to push my buttons. You know what to say to upset me. And you do it intentionally because you're, a bitch, And so he started beating me, and he beats me all the time in front of my kids. And at this time, my 2 kids were 5 and 7 already, okay? And it's so hard for me to have my kids live in this type of life where they see their mom get beat up all the time. But this time it was very different. I consider my eldest child my savior because at the age of 8, after his father was done beating me on the floor of our loft in our home, his dad ran off and just went to another room. My son came up to me at the age of 8 and he said, Mommy, you don't have to do what Daddy says, but if you just tell him that you're going to do it, and then when he's not home, just don't do it. That way he won't hurt you. That's what my son said to me. And I just couldn't take it. And I just was like, you know what? Fuck that shit. Fuck him, dude. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not staying in this marriage no more. I've been here for 11 years. I keep on telling everybody that he's beating me, but nobody's listening, So I'm going to step up, for my kids. I realized I couldn't leave for 11 years for myself because I didn't know how to love myself. But in that very moment, I had to leave for my children. So right when my son said that to me, I just got up, I ran to the bathroom, I locked the door, and then I went to the closet and I called 911. And I told myself that, you know what, I'm never going to fucking go back to that prison. And then I took my kids and I left. And I put a restraining order against him. And it was hell for 2 years because I had to fight for a parenting plan. I had to fight all the CPS calls that he made against me, all the false CPS calls. But you know what? I got through it. And it's been 15 years. Yeah. So, last year, it was 15 years since I escaped my prison in, June 11th of 2009, right? It's been 15 years. But I didn't need to go back and tell my story to America or the world, my child bride story. I didn't need to rehash all those sad memories, but I did it because I understood that someone needs to come forward. Otherwise, these politicians are not going to see that this is happening in their backyard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So her testifying helped. She had to tell her story, and that helped. That was the thing that helped end child marriage in Washington, was her telling her story.
That is
yeah.
That is
so brave.
That's an absolutely unbelievably noble pursuit. And frankly, I don't think anyone in this room knew that was happening, that was legal.
I was shocked when she told me. I was like, this happened in America? She was like, this happened in Washington State. And I was like, Washington State?
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? We're supposed to be progressive.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and also when I escaped in 2009, I told my I had to apply for a free attorney, right, because I had no money, and I had my 2 kids, and I told my attorney about how he raped me, throughout the 11 years I was with him. And she told me at that time that oh, well, I'm so sorry, but the statute of limitation for rape has already passed. It wasn't until way after I escaped my prison that they changed it to where there was no expiration date.
Yeah.
Did you pursue charges?
So I tried to, but at that time they told me that the statute of limitation had passed. So there was nothing I could do about it. And then when they did pass it later, many years later, I was at another point in my life where I was already happy. I was going to school. I graduated from University of Washington with my science degree. I graduated with my master's in business. Like, I love my kids. My kids are successful. They're like 21 and 24 right now, and I'm 39. And I work hard to make sure my kids are happy. So I don't see the need in, like, you know, making things harder for me. My mental health is super important to me. And I just want to keep on going forward and do my best to, like, speak life into those who are suffering in silence. Because there's a lot of survivors out there.
Yeah, there are. There are a lot.
That's unbelievable. Thanks for sharing all that. That was stirring.
Wow,
I can see why it's so personal to you.
Yeah,
You know?
it really.
Well, obviously, I mean, I see why it's so emotionally charged. Like how much that would hurt to have
Yeah.
someone that you thought was your friend just completely disregard that. That is unbelievably.
Yeah, it makes no
harrowing.
sense. That's why I'm very sad about Ian and Anisa, because, you know, Michael and I really cared about them like they were our family. But again and again, they disappoint us. Again and again, they treat us like shit. Again and again, Ian puts out that video saying that he has just a ton of 4K videos of him doing stupid shit. Like, that was my 3-year work filming them before CC1, right? Because they came to us summer of 2021, and CC1 happened in 2022, okay? You know? So, like, I had all this work that I've done, you know? And I just stopped telling people about what I was doing for Creative Clash because I look stupid. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm filming, and it's for the documentary.
None of the film came out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel so dumb talking about it when, like, they don't put it out, and I, like, am I making it up?
Right. Yeah. So, it strikes me as just deeply ironic that she's severing all of these relationships because of men being disrespectful to women, and then, like, I can't imagine a more pertinent, pressing, urgent issue than
Someone you
this
know.
one.
Yes,
someone
I know
you
her.
know and have a relationship with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just very, very sad, you know, but it just shows their true colors and who they really are. And that's the reason why, you know, after that incident, I told myself, I cut myself off emotionally for them because they're not good people.
Yeah.
They cry about all these crises and women's rights all the time, but I reached out to them and they just put me on red. Like, you know, we helped them with their business of building Creative Clash, and they had nobody on their team. And then after that, like, when we reached out to them just to ask them for feedback or how we go about starting our own business, they tell us that in no world could we ever help
so
you.
mean.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't
Are you
know.
That's what part of why we were able to, like, or like when Harley came out, that's when we were like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then more people started coming out, and then we're like,
Yeah.
and then people had questions about, okay, what happened with the money with this event and what happened. And I was like, we have a lot of those answers, but also I don't want to be associated with all the hate that I've been getting from being on his side when, like, other than training him for the fights, I wanted to have a bigger relationship the same way all the other guys had relationships with their coaches, but him and I were just never on that level. So that always kind of broke my heart because I was always like, I put in so much to Ian, and that was the thing. If he would have released a documentary, you would have seen how much I put into his training, and not only his training but the whole event. Like, I wanted everyone to actually be successful on that event and the whole thing to go well.
I want to ask. I want to ask Kate, what can we do, or audience members? I'm sure everybody was extremely moved to help pass more bills like this, or support you specifically.
So I started. It was really hard for me to share, but I started an Instagram called The 12-Year-Old Bride. And I started that Instagram last year, January, when I started my advocacy work. So if they can follow that Instagram, then I can, in the bio section, I have, like, the articles that I've been in for passing the law here in Washington State. And I plan to announce in the future as well other states that I'm working on. The 2 states that I'm working on next is Hawaii, Oregon, and California. And so when I come to California, I hope that, you know, I can reach out to you guys and get support.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there, so if you come out here and you're able to talk, is public support going to help this bill get passed? When
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
There's not enough people. So basically, when because California trashed the bill, now the nonprofits that I work with have to restart the bill from scratch, right? So once they get the bill written up, now they have to ask politicians to sponsor the bill. Once they have politicians to sponsor the bill, then we go to Sacramento and then we lobby.
Yeah.
What that means is that I have to meet with every single politician every 30 minutes and tell them my sad story, right?
Yeah, over and over.
Over and over. And by the way, I also suffer from PTSD because of my trauma that I've had in my child marriage, right? So imagine telling your story over and over for every 30 minutes with a new politician, trying to get them to co-author this House bill. And then after 30 minutes of crying and telling them your story because it's so hard, they say, thank you for sharing. But you know what? Because of our sponsors, we're not going to be able to co-author right now. We're going to let you know later if we decide to support the bill.
Yeah. So if, we'll let you know when it becomes another bill, because every bill has like a house number or a number to it.
Yes.
So we'll let you know when the next bill goes through. And then you guys, I don't know if people have to write to their congressman or.
So basically there's going to be a link that I will share, right? And so all you got to do is just go in there and put your email address and the link that is provided by the nonprofit. Is actually I would like to share. Her name is Frady, and she's also Jewish. And I know, right?
I love that.
Yeah, she's also Jewish, okay? And she's from New Jersey, okay?
Shout
out. Yes. Mm-hmm. She funded the nonprofit called Unchained at Last because she said that in her community, she was a child bride but married at the age of 18. And she couldn't leave because in the community, if you're Jewish, you're not able to leave your husband unless he unchains you from him. Yeah, like you have to go through all these like schooling and stuff, and they torture you. Yeah, and so she started the nonprofit Unchained at Last, and so she and her nonprofit is actually the one that I'm working with. They're also a federal nonprofit, so they also work with the United Nations. We're hoping that we can end child marriage by 2030.
I hope so too. It's so disturbing, and just the lack of awareness is frankly unbelievable.
Yes.
So, by the way, I want everyone to go. We're gonna link the 12-year-old bride. I see this page you have set up here. Let's put that in the description and spam it and chat. Make sure that we get people following this page, and then Unchained at Last.
Yes.
That's a great name for the org.
Yes.
This is the nonprofit that you work with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm planning to start my own nonprofit in the future too. I'm planning to call it Heal Out Loud because as I was doing my advocacy work, I realized that it was so challenging for me because even though I escaped 15 years ago and I've been working on my healing journey to build myself up, I've never opened up and told my story and shared it out loud. So because of that, when I went to go do it, it was so traumatic for me. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. It was very, very difficult. And then also made me realize that there's so many layers to healing, and healing out loud is super important because I see that as kind of like one of the final phases of healing. And so that's the reason why I told Michael that, once we get everything situated, I want to build a nonprofit. I want to call it Heal Out Loud. And my slogan is going to be, when we heal out loud, we speak life to those suffering in silence, because that's what I've experienced. And that's what I hope to bring to other survivors who are suffering.
You said before you were getting a lot of hate online and stuff. I think your story is so powerful that I think you're going to get just an outpouring of love and support.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's unbelievable.
That's all you do. Yeah, it's hard. Think about you have PTSD and you have all this trauma, right? And then you have to go and then put it into content so people can actually support you.
Yeah.
It would take me 3 to 4 hours to put up one Instagram post because I would just be crying, you know?
Right. Wow.
I have to be vulnerable and tell my most vulnerable moment and testify on public television. And I have no support. I have no platform.
It's crazy because we go into these rooms and they have to tell their story, and literally you have the room full of people crying. And then we have to 30 minutes later go into another room and tell the story, and then we're crying all over again.
Yeah.
And then we're in another room and we're crying all over again. And so it happens it'll be 10 times in a day. And then by the time the day's over, you're exhausted.
You're so exhausted. Crazy. And not only this, I want people to know, the audience to know that the reason why I stepped into this role, because what I realized was that these survivors, right, that are going out to testify for these House bills, there's no funding for them. Even though the nonprofit's there, the nonprofit is to provide structure and direction, right? And they write up the bill.
Yeah, so we have to
but
pay
no one
everybody.
pays for my flight, my hotel, my time away to go and testify. I have to do that out of my own pocket. So if I didn't have my own business, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was not easy for us to do that either. But Michael and I knew that this was super important to us. So we just paid out of our own pocket and, we went for it, But I know that in the future, I have to be smarter and better because I need to build a nonprofit because no one's taking care of me out there. And I need to make sure that survivors are able to be taken care of when they're going out there to tell their story so we can pass these bills.
We got to pass these bills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime
100%.
there's something you guys need, reach out and we'll blast it. You guys can call in, we'll share it, whatever, which is just important to all of us.
It is
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Yeah.
You guys have always been our huge. Oops, sorry, Olivia.
No.
Go.
I was just going to say, you guys have always been our biggest supporters. So,
Like that's sad because
it's crazy.
That's honestly tragic.
Yeah, you and
But
Sam.
but I'm glad we connected on a more serious level here, where we can definitely advocate for you guys, which is what you deserve. What were you gonna say, Olivia?
So sorry. I just think it is so brave that you're using your time post healing in your adulthood to help other children who wouldn't otherwise be helped. You are stronger than anyone I think I've ever listened to.
Thank you.
That's part of why I married her. That's why it was
wow,
funny.
she's amazing.
That's why it was funny to me because I know how strong she is and what she's went through, how she had to raise 2 kids on her own, left the situation she was in, went to college, had to work, and did that on her own. And then so when Ian and Anisa are like saying that I don't respect women, we're like so confused. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, like my wife is one of the people I respect most in this world because of what she's went through as a woman. You know.
That seems to be one of her refrains. She just leans on that anytime she wants to isolate him, it seems like. By the way, we just got a comment from this user, T4UT7. I'm also Hmong. Is it Hmong?
Yeah, Hmong. H-M-O-N-G, yes.
I'm also Hmong, and my grandparents escaped the Vietnam War, and my grandpa gained citizenship for helping transport U.S. soldiers. So awesome to see our people be recognized. Much love. There it is.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. There's so many Hmong people out here, and
they're good people. They work hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
Through a friend. I was coaching out of a old gym that I was out of for 18 years, where I used to work with fighters like Demetrius Johnson, all these other people that were like world champions. That was kind of how Ian and Anisa were able to find me, was because of the work I had done out of a different gym. The front desk girl at the gym had introduced us and said she thought we'd hit it off, and
she was right. Oh my goodness. They really nailed it.
I want to tell you about Michael's brand because when I first met him, right, he told me that he had this brand called Bonafide Boxing that he bought the trademark from since 2014.
Great name.
He told me that he's never had the opportunity to build it, right? And I met him in 2019. So then he told me that it was always his dream to build his brand, but the gym that he was at, his head coach wouldn't let him build his brand or do anything or film at the gym. He was kept to just be like, the head striking coach and to run the gym. And so I had so much heart for him, and I just thought, I saw his work, his like boxing and everything and training. And I told him, I said, Michael, you're very talented. You need to leave this gym because they're holding you back. They've been using you for 18 years. Like, leave this gym and I will help you build your business. We can do it together. We'll start from scratch. So I built the website. I started the YouTube channel. I get all the content of him that we put out on all our media outlets. And we've been doing it ourselves for the past 5 years, Yeah. So, and it was crazy to me when I did the website that bonafideboxing.com was still available.
That is crazy. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
And it's meant to be, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
So currently, Michael, you're kind of like, how does it work? You have clients and then you take them to a gym and work with them?
Yeah, so I'm currently out of a gym called Vigor Ground in Renton, and then another small 2 fight gyms, one in Kirkland and then one in Bothell. And so right now I just coach my fighters pretty much wherever I can, when I can. I'm at Vigor Monday through Friday during the day, and then the other gyms I'm at either Monday night or Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So I literally work 6 days a week. I'm always taking on new clients, so if people want private lessons, and then as far as like fighters at a high level, I've been, like I said, I'm working on getting a few of my own fighters into the UFC. I've worked with previous UFC fighters. So we're just trying to build the brand to the point where I want to have my gym be a place where a lot of fighters, when they get good in this area, they have to go to Vegas, they have to go to Florida, they have to go to LA, they have to go to people like Wild Card, like AB's gym and places like that. And I want to have a spot in Seattle area, Kirkland area that those people won't have to leave. They can come to us.
There it is. That's great.
High-level fighters and general pop. So anyone that needs some training in boxing or kickboxing, I've been doing it for over 25 years, and I love it. And then if anybody's looking to be a high-level MMA fighter and come in, get better coaching, I'm here for them too.
Okay, we're going to put all the links in the description. We're going to spam them out. Anytime you guys need anything on either one, if once you have like a gym or you have something going on there, let us know. The bills is so important to everybody. Everybody was absolutely moved by that. So stay in touch, and then give their payment info to.
Yes, we will. But
I'm in touch with you. Give it to me. Yeah. Give me like. Do you guys use like Zelle or Venmo?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if I can do that much on Zelle. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna send you guys $5,000, that money that Ian should have given you. And I'm just so grateful. This was an amazing. I got to tell you, we went super long. Not that it's a problem. I just thought this was an incredible conversation. It was great from beginning to end. I was just captivated the whole time.
Thank you.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you to Harley too.
Harley put us in touch, so there it is.
Yeah. And also before we take off, I just want to say too that I want to use this opportunity to tell Anisa directly that Anisa, we're very disappointed in you and Ian for never promoting us and giving us credit for anything. And the fact that you still continue to this day not give us credit for anything, it would make me feel better if you would take down that photo that I took of you and Michael boxing together. I know you like to put it up on your Twitter account and all your media outlets because you still want to flex that you're a boxing expert, but please take that video down because it tarnishes our brand, and I don't want it on there. And you don't support us, so take it down.
That seems like a modest request, considering everything. Wait, I want to see. I heard that her pinned post on Twitter is a photo that you took.
Yes.
I am boxing with you,
I thought
Michael.
she was talking about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, I want to see it. Harley, you're back in the. Back in the Keem den. Can you someone send me that? Yeah, hold on. So I mean, hey, that's a modest request. Let's just unpin this. You know what I mean? Let's just take it down. So this is her pinned video.
Yeah.
So this is the video she showed everyone that she's some savant footwork.
Yeah.
I mean, she does look really good in this.
Yeah,
a lot better than me and Ian did. I'll say that.
Right. Well, and that's what I was saying is I don't want to I'm not trying to excessively hate. She could have done well if she wasn't if she didn't just charge forward and have 13 concussions.
Well, at the end of the day, it's not about at the end of the day, it's not about if she did well or not. It's about her not giving us the respect that we deserve. So take it down.
Well,
The funnier context is that Ian's just sitting there about to get his ass beat because he's not training enough because his wife is sucking up all your time.
That is what happened. That is what happened. Yes.
I will not fucking shut up.
Yeah, take the post down, Anisa.
But it's weird that they won't give us. Well, and here's another thing too was Ian was talking about possibly fighting on Creator Clash 3.
Right.
He hasn't been in the gym. I have no idea or maybe he trains with a different boxing coach now.
I don't think so.
He hasn't been with me for 2.5 years. So he was talking about possibly going in, and I was like, who's going to train him? He never even once told us this event was going on.
Right. No, I don't think he. I don't think he was ever in touch with the coach. I mean, he made it pretty clear that he did not want to fight again. I felt
And I would privately tell him, hey, Ian, be proud of what you've done. You don't need to fight ever again. Because I could tell, like I said, after the fights, it's all this trauma comes out from the whole training camp and everything he had to go through. And instead of just being proud of it, it would be just more weight on his shoulders and make him feel worse and worse.
I thought it was really fascinating as well that, and for those listening, they probably don't realize it at a glance when you look at boxing, but Ian boxed at pro-regulated rules.
Yes.
And that means his gloves were much smaller. The sport was far more dangerous for him than it was for someone like me. I would not have even boxed in any of these events if I wasn't using the size gloves that I was. And that's why when you look at the end of the events, Ethan is severely damaged compared to the other fighters.
Were you using like 16-ounce gloves? How heavy were your gloves?
Okay. Mine were 16-ounce gloves.
Yeah, Ian had 10-ounce.
Oh yeah, and that's very like lethal. Like
You feel that.
You
That's
get
like
hit
you
with
feel
that.
that.
Totally. You
Big
can't
time.
block it. The other one, it's like big pillows. It's easier to block. The slower punches, everything. But when the event was done, I remember people talking about it, and it came up a lot. Like, well, yeah, but Ian, he did pro rules, so it's a little different than what you guys did. I was always blown away by that. I thought it was extremely unnecessary.
Why did they have the need to do a pro tier boxing?
I was
match
like,
with
he
the
loves
top?
boxing. I was like, he must love boxing if he wants
he's
to be
a fan
pro
of the
about
sport.
it.
Yes.
Why, Michael? Because of Anisa?
I don't know why he wanted to turn pro.
Go be a man. Wear 10-ounce gloves.
But I don't see the benefit. I don't see the benefit. Okay, she wants
In
to
the
be.
first fight, I wanted him to have 4 3-minute rounds with Dr. Mike because I didn't think Dr. Mike would be able to handle the pace. But then Ian didn't do any of his freaking cardio, so Ian couldn't handle the pace. But then somehow, like when we were in the fight, it got switched to 5 2-minute rounds. But then his second fight was 4 3s. I felt like I could train him as a pro properly if as long as he put in the work. And for the second fight, had he not taken 6 months off of boxing, we would have won that fight. He was in better shape physically. Like, he ended up gassing Alex, but he just doesn't have the boxing skills Alex has because Alex actually loves boxing. So I really felt like had Ian not taken those 6 months off, he probably would have won that fight.
Yeah.
But that's also that's 6 months. That was half the time that was double the time that he trained for the fight. So
Yeah, and I want to say like the common denominator between Creator Clash 1 and 2, right? Why Ian doesn't win is because of Anisa, because she disrupts training 24/7.
She sabotages training.
Sabotages everything. So how are you supposed to, win, right? When you have a partner in life that's sabotaging 24/7.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
I couldn't
It's
imagine.
really hard.
I couldn't imagine Lucky Boy letting Lena come in and tell him all her problems and take up half of AB's session.
What do you think about that, AB?
Well, I didn't want to say this, but now that we're talking about it, it is absolutely 110% Lena's fault that I lost both times. it would have been so easy if
She was there the whole time.
Me and, all this bullshit. Honestly, Hundar and Dad would have been easy clap.
Yeah, do you think Waleed? What was his name? Wale.
Wally.
Wally. You think he would have let Lena in there and change the aux and complain to him and shit and ask him to train her?
Nah, he didn't let me in. Sometimes I would kind
He
of
didn't let me in.
I would try to clarify some stuff for Lena, and he would be like, "Get out of the ring, get out of the ring."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how most coaches would act in those scenarios. But like, I would have to take on both of them, and I did it because I needed clients. I did it because I loved Ian and really wanted to help him. It was
and you were trying to pay the bills.
But it was it was also very. It made me take some of the love out of it made me take some of the passion out of what I was doing, because every day it was like, fuck, what are we gonna have?
That's horrible. Hate to hear that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like you're back on track, so.
We really are.
We're working hard. Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard sport, man.
Yeah.
Not all up to what I do. It's also what up to my fighters do. And if one of my fighters fucks up, then it comes out on me.
Everybody
right?
feels it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, like I said, I don't want to have my brand be associated with what he's been doing lately, because that's not I got more support from you than I ever did from him. So why would I want to be associated with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, have a great evening. Thank you so much for the call. We're going to stay in touch. We're going to put all your socials up everywhere, and I'll talk to you guys after the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Harley. Thank you, AB.
Thank you, everybody from H3.
Thank you
Appreciate it,
guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, there's Rocky. You saw Rocky.
Rocky, shout out Rocky.
Shout out Rocky.
Shout out Rocky. Yes. Highly good.
Wow.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Here's Winnie. She says bye too.
Oh, bye.
We love Winnie.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
So cute.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good night. Wow. What a call. What a call, man. Wow.
But I truly am genuinely the happiest I've ever been in my life right now.
That's
I feel
good.
so freed.
I don't buy it. Not
Do
for a
not
second.
regret at all. how
That
things
was
have gone.
probably the most devastating expose ever. Like this, I can't. People are going to be feasting on this.
I'm so happy I'm here today. This is
was
awesome.
such a such a great episode, and I feel like they're fully justified, and they were classy about it. These just good people that got fucked over, you know. So hold on, let me get this straight. So now, Ian, because of Anisa, because of your dumbasses, now I'm paying AB and Michael because your dumb, broke, cheap ass won't pay them back. What the fuck, man? At this point, I'm basically the biggest. I am Creator Clash.
Yes.
I am this event, man.
Yes.
I want that 34%. Anyway.
King Kong ain't got
What a
shit
call!
on
Wow.
me.
Well, any thoughts to share? I mean, we've been going for a long time.
I mean, I'm
One of
processing
the
a
one of
lot.
the greatest calls in H3 podcast
Well,
history.
it already was a pretty wild ride just talking about Creator Clash, but then the pivot into Kate's story, like I'm still reeling from
So
what she was talking about.
I was
Like,
talking to them in DMs. I have a group chat with the two of them, and she had mentioned that like she was a child bride at 12, and that she had mentioned it to Ian, and he and they ghosted her and stuff. And I put a pin in that because I was like, that sounds insane. Like I have to ask her about that.
God, she's so strong.
That story. Yeah.
And when she's telling that story, and then Ian won't get up to do road work. Could you imagine like what she thinks of him?
Yeah.
You know, she escaped from like a fucking horror show, and he won't get up and fucking run.
Yeah.
Single moms. Whenever I hear these stories of single moms, it just blows my mind what some of these people are able to like to do. To have 3 kids. She said she has 3 kids, right? To raise 3 kids, work full time, go to school. It's like these people are superheroes.
Yeah.
And then walk around with all the trauma that she had too.
And get her and her kids out of that situation.
Yeah.
She's
badass.
amazing.
Towel 42. Thank you for the 50 gifties. Thank you for the 50 gifties, lad.
And thank you to everybody who's been gifting throughout. You know, we like to shout those out, but it didn't really want to interrupt the flow of the conversation. But I was seeing all of your donations, and we thank you very much for all of the support.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad everybody tuned in.
Alexandra just now donated $100 and said the best fucking community on YouTube and Twitch combined.
That's what
Thank you,
think.
Alexandra.
I was captivated that whole time.
Yep.
I was in it the whole way, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely in better hands.
Yeah. I'll take it from here.
All right, we have been going for
Well, there it is.
about 4 hours.
Bonafide boxing. And the 12-year-old bride
links
on
in the
Instagram.
description to the Bonafide Boxing, Instagram, and YouTube. Also links to Unchained at Last, the organization that she was promoting, and her advocacy Instagram page, the 12-year-old bride.
Follow that
all those
page,
links
yeah.
in the description.
Yeah, all in the description. Man. Well, thank you to them. Thank you to, once again, to Michael and Kate for sharing that. And
the
thank you,
biggest
Harley, for putting us in touch. That was really appreciated.
Right. And the biggest thank you to the officer that pulled over Tom.
Shout out.
He was just doing his job.
He was just doing his job. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Harley, are you still here?
Huh?
No.
He bailed? Or
Nah,
you
we-
ended?
I ended.
Oh,
We
yeah,
forgot.
Thank you to Harley.
Thank you to Harley as well. Yeah.
We're gonna get him back in here when we do the Goss Talk. We're gonna get him back in here.
For the Goss Talk?
Yeah, we're gonna get him in here. We're gonna do
He
it.
said that's his favorite, Dan.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Well, today is. I think this interview cured my sickness.
You feel good now?
My throat doesn't hurt anymore.
It might have been the 4 pills you took at the beginning.
That did seem to. I took 2. I took 2.
And the throat coat.
Such a vulgar name, throat coat.
Doesn't have to be.
I'm gonna coat your throat, Dan.
You coat your throat and things all the time.
Full-throated?
Every time you drink.
Sounds so vulgar.
Every time you drink
Tom is
anything.
here. Thank you,
Your
Tom, for
throat is
coming and
coated.
being here
Thank
and
you,
getting that pullover footage. That was amazing too.
There's
What
a little
show.
There's
What
a
a
little
show.
update. I just sent it. I giggled at
There's
this
an
during the
update.
show,
Oh, okay.
which makes it
Oh no.
Oh no! Someone went there.
Yeah, so just
it's
skip
worse
to
than
the
we
third
thought,
image.
Tom. So let's see.
Oh no.
I
So
just skipped
here's
to the
the,
first
I
image.
I told you this was going to be disastrous for you.
So somebody
I knew
figured out the exact spot.
Yeah.
Okay, the sleuth.
So look, specifically what I thought was funny is there's a blinking red light on top of the stop sign.
Oh, you're right.
They're like, there's a lot of psychos blasting through
You
There is
had
nothing
every advantage.
covering or no.
There's not a
Oh,
tree.
the Lord,
tree
you
to
Well,
gotta
the good
pay
news
more
is
attention.
you will never make the mistake.
Never again. Will you
Right?
blast
stopping
through
at
a
like
four-way.
30
You learned
seconds
your
at every
lesson.
stop sign.
Your Honor, I'm colorblind. I can't tell.
Unbelievable.
What a
So
show.
tomorrow we'll be here for members, and look forward to seeing all you guys then, and Friday for everybody else. In the meantime, have a blessed evening. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you to Michael and Kate, to Tom, to all of you, to everybody. This is not what podcasting is. This is what podcasting is.